All right, we're back here at another Bloodbath Tactics episode. This one's a special one. We recently, as a team for Bloodbath Tactics and Bloodbath Beyond, went to Edmonton for a teams event. Really had a lot of fun. We ended up placing quite high. We got second place.
Yep.
And it's all four of us here together to talk about our experience as a team. We all play different factions, all Imperium, because we're awesome.
We're all for the Emperor. We're the Emperor's finest, in fact.
So it was me, Ben, and then we also have joining us here today is Jeremy and Mark. Mark's been on the podcast before. This is Jeremy's first time.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, Jeremy.
Good.
What's going on? I'm excited about this one. This one's a lot of fun because we've never really done like a panel before, and I'm excited to see how it goes and see what the viewers like and really talk about what a team event's like. Because even when I was getting into competitive Warhammer, teams always kind of confuse me. I was like, oh, well, why is this more competitive than singles events? Because I find singles event like, okay, you're really making this list, you're trying to hone down the meta, but when you're working together as a team and then going against another team who's trying to outplay you and change your matchups, that's when it's so competitive. And it's nice to have somebody, that kind of has your back in the way. Like they can kind of come up like, hey, I won my game, man. You can take it easy, or whatever. So anyone who's interested in teams, it is awesome.
Oh, it's like the big leagues of Warhammer. When you get into singles, is obviously like where all the glory comes from. But
100%.
like I think anybody who plays competitive Warhammer knows like teams like the WTC just happened. We couldn't go. We had to play in Edmonton, obviously.
Yeah,
we were going to go, but
invites were there. But
we just we got to do Edmonton first.
Yeah,
build your way up the chain. But it actually is like the big leagues because it adds another depth, another layer to the whole wargaming process, right? The way you're strategizing your team picks versus your list picks versus your pairings, it's a whole different layer.
And there's list restrictions too. Like there's,
of course.
For us being Imperium, it made it more difficult because we couldn't have Imperial agents everywhere. Like, if I wanted to run a Custodes assassin, nobody else could.
Not allowed.
Yeah,
it really affected my main list because I play Grey Knights. In my main list, I run Codiaz a majority of the time, and an assassin and henchman. But because of Imperial Knights taking that slot, I had to just go with pure Grey Knight faction. So
well, and not even like Grey Knights, obviously, but even Custodes. Custodes love a good ally in there for sure.
Yeah, I definitely like Kyria Draxis as well as a Custodes assassin as well. But funny enough, my only competitive Warhammer experience has been teams. So
well, that's right. That's right.
So I kind of know to chat with you guys and chat with the fellow teammates to find out what lists you're running and try to shape something around that can be beneficial and work for everybody.
So what did you guys all play?
I play Custodes, Shield Host. It seems to be the most played detachment for Custodes at the moment, and had a pretty good list, I thought. Complimented the team well.
Can you give us a quick, for those not familiar with the buff that Custodes recently took to Shield Host specifically, what was the change, and why do you think that's the strongest attachment right now?
We kind of chatted a bit about this in the last podcast I was on, but with Custodes at the moment, they had some good points decreases for a bunch of their units, making a few different options more viable. As well, the changes with the shield captains giving -1 CP to strat as opposed to a free strat, and it doesn't have to be a battle tactic.
That's huge.
It was really beneficial because I think shield host, there's no 2 CP strats at all.
Wow. And Custodes are naturally CP hungry.
Exactly. We have no CP generators, and they're very CP hungry. So you're always running tactical objectives for secondaries, and then having that -1 CP strat is huge. So, and with shield hosts, like they're just so strong. You can, with the Martial Katas for Custodes, you can either have lethal hits or sustained hits, but with the shield hosts, you can either pick to have critting on 5s in melee or plus one armor. Yeah, +1 armor pen.
Oh, is that what it is? The one that no one ever uses?
What's the one that's -1 to hit?
So the -1 to hit in melee, if you control an objective with a unit, you can spend 1 CP and then you get -1. But they took out that -1 to hit from the Martial Katas before. But you have sticky objectives, and you can actually give your units like sustain or lethal hits and shooting as well. So there's a few fun stratagems to use, and you can still get like the 4-up feel no pain against mortals and dev wounds as well for a CP. So it seems to be the most played and kind of the most successful detachment for
out of curiosity, in like say this weekend, this was a weird tournament in that it was only 4 games.
Yep.
Which was very relaxed. Like, it was a very chill weekend.
Yeah,
We got
it's
to, like,
nice.
We'll get into it maybe a little bit more after we're done with like our lists and stuff. We got to bro down with some other teams, and it was a really, really fun weekend for sure. But in a weekend of say whatever 4 or 5 games, how many times playing Custodes are you going for that that improved AP over the crits on 5s? Have you ever used it?
Big zero. Big zero. I actually made a point of telling my opponents before the match that I'm playing Shield Host. This is what they do. I can take crits on 5s or +1 to my AP.
Right.
I will always choose crits on 5s unless I tell you otherwise. And not
That's the way to do
once
it.
did I use +1 AP because, again, if I'm against something that has higher toughness, I'm taking lethal hits and trying to dump as many in as possible. And if it's less toughness, I'm taking sustained
Then you go
hits.
for
So
sustained.
again, I can dump in as many.
I have to say,
wounds
I
as
think the only
possible.
argument to do it in is actually Votan.
Yeah.
They're all 2-up armor with low invul.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
They have 5 invul if they actually take the enhancement. So that'd be the only time I think I foresee ever being in that situation. And that's only if you're ever in that situation.
Very
so,
niche. Very niche.
Yeah, very niche. Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. So we had our Custodes. We kind of didn't spoil it, but we did take the Imperium's finest. So Jeremy, you were playing. You said your
the
main
big-
army was Grey Knights, and you were playing Grey Knights, right?
I was playing Grey Knights,
Yeah.
I came in, we only have 1 detachment, so came in with 3 Dread Knights, 3 squads of Terminators, and 3 Librarians. So very, very
Right, right.
MSU list, 4 battle line squads. So
Did you have any battle line? Or no, I guess your Terminese, but what about your
I
you
also
had a
had Strike Squad.
Yeah, you had a Strike Squad, yeah.
So I brought the Bro Champ for the Strike Squad to get the fight first. Came in handy in 1 match, in particular when World Eaters charged in with 8 bound.
Sure. Right. Yep.
They managed to pick off a few of them, and then survive the
clapback.
The clapback, yeah. And then it worked out well. The 3 Librarians I really liked, and then obviously Drago. You bring Drago every time.
Is it because he has the deep strike 6-inch charge? Is that why you bring him?
That and before he was kind of on the fence. I'd use him sometimes, other times not. But since they changed the feel no pain versus mortals for dev wounds as well, that puts him over the edge.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I didn't think of that. And your the 3 Brotherhood Librarians kind of gives you the edge on other like the mirror match, right? Which you did twice this weekend, I think.
Yeah,
Or this past
my
weekend?
4 matches, 2 of them were against Grey Knights.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, I lost the 3rd match of the tournament against David Corrin's
It
Grey
happens.
Knights.
We all, everybody knows and loves David on the podcast.
But when I went into the 4th match, I learned from the mistakes of that match and took home that 4th match.
Nice.
Just a slight correction. The Librarians are also good for their spike damage.
Oh, for sure.
I killed 2 Angrons and a Mortarion. They really helped for that.
Ooh, that's
I look at
right.
your librarians too because you don't have a lot of high strength weapons at all, or any kind of anti-tank. I guess it's your side cannons is strength 10 on your Dread Knights. That's it, and that's not anti-tank. That's wounding on 4s, right? That's nothing crazy. But those librarians can really spike that damage.
Yeah, the only anti-tank I have is the Demon Hammer, but I have to get into melee for that with the Knight. So I have to connect with a 9-inch charge.
A 9-inch
bringing
charge,
him in from
yeah.
deep strike,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just have my opponent deploy or come too close to me so I can take advantage of the Dread Knight's auto advance 6 inches on top of his 8 movement for 14 inches, and then charge on top of that. But not often do I get into melee with them now, since they changed the tank shock.
Right.
So now I use them primarily as fire support.
Because you're tank shocking with, is it 9 dice?
Now 8 dice.
8 dice.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
but
it's like-
before it was 16.
Right, of course.
So you tank shock
Completely
every
different.
time.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
14. Okay, but you have to be. what's
14.
toughness 14?
Except against that one model.
Yeah, yeah. Stompas. Is that what it is? What's the model?
Oh,
What's the toughness 14 model?
toughness 14, Stompas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stompas
all
are
right,
14?
So Stompas, you're getting
Yikes.
14 dice. Everything else, you're getting 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
Right.
Jeez.
Cool.
All right, we'll switch over to you
Cass,
there, Ben.
what did you bring?
Oh, you want to know
The
me?
people want to know what you brought.
Oh,
People
so,
demand it.
I mainly run Death Guard, but in light of the Imperium and having a broken codex, I went Sisters.
Yeah.
This one, and I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the way they play. The Bringer of Flame detachment is the one I ended up choosing, which is kind of the main detachment that everybody chooses.
For sure. Yeah.
There is a few lists, even at the WTC tournament that's happened. A couple of people went Haloed Martyrs, which is the one where if you are below starting strength, you get +1 to hit. If you're below, if you're half below it, then you get +1 to wound.
Yeah.
Which is the index one. Then I saw one other team's list playing Penitent Host. Again, that's my favorite. Everyone knows that it's my favorite.
You like your Arcos?
I like my Arcos. I like the idea of these ladies just trying to like repent for their sins and trying to like work their way back in the Imperium, just as a narrative thing, or just as a narrative.
Yeah,
like,
the lore is cool. Yeah, hell yeah.
But like also Repenter is sweet.
Repenter.
But they got a huge debuff when it came up. They're 180 points now for 10, and that's just really, really. They can kill anything.
Yeah.
But they die to anything, and
Right.
I don't really like that. So. Bringer Flame is really, really unique. They have about 3 good stratagems. The other 3 you don't really use. And they have some good enhancements. The one main one I took was giving +1 attack to all torrent weapons and sustained in all other weapons that are in the unit. So you put that on a jump pack canoness, and then you attach it to some Seraphim. There is 8 flamers. You give her a flamer, so that's 9 flamers at plus. So then +1 attack, so +9. So it's 96 shots. +9.
Yep.
The other detachment rule is if you are within 12 inches, which is the range of the guns, it's +1 strength. So now my hand flamers are strength 5, AP 0/1 damage, but 96 +9 shots. And then there's a stratagem that gives it all dev wounds.
Yeah. Right.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
yeah. Oh, it's that detachment can put out some crazy damage.
and its mobility is
right. Because everything has assault.
Everything is assault.
Right. So you're just flying around.
We'll get more into the matches, and I'll just give a little spoiler. There's one point where it was turn 1, and my opponent, we were playing Votan, but he drew containment, and we knew because we're both shooty, whoever draws containment first is like kind of giving away a free unit.
Right.
And unfortunately, he did turn 1, so he's like, "Oh man, I got cucked on this," and his status chart went up, but it went and hid. We did discuss like what I could do with the emulator, but basically my emulator being near a Triumph, Triumph gives 2 inches to move and +2 advance, so 3 inches extra in movement.
Crazy.
My emulator is deep in my deployment zone, but I could essentially auto advance it with the 6 that I got from having a Triumph. So that is a 14
19 inches?
21.
Oh, Jesus.
21, and having a strat that I
Crazy.
can disembark after I advance.
Right.
So I can actually come out to a point where I had line of sight on a status chart hidden behind a building 21 inches away, and then disembark, having the extra 3 inches, so 24 inch right there, and then I had 4 Meltas staring at that Sagittar, as well as the twin Melty Meltas and Heavy Bolter, and then he had the other unit he was doing contain with. So I got 2 units out of it, but like things you can do in that detachment is just crazy. Like if you think you're hidden, I feel like I'm better at Grey Knights for finding people sometimes. Like if you're gonna hide over here, I'm like, well, I don't know, man. I can Morven Volk. If I had Morven Volk on the field, she can advance 17 inches and find you, and then just shoot you, right? So I had a lot of fun with the Sisters, and I want to see more in the future.
Yeah, and so going into this team tournament, actually me, Jeremy, and Mark had played in a previous team tournament, 3-man team event. And Team Trios here in Calgary, not that long ago, a month ago-ish.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing to them, because you played your Grey Knights, you played your Custodes, said the same thing to them. I want to play Knights, because Knights are in a really good place right now, especially with the changes from Pariah and Nexus, right? Big Knights moving through walls, all the armatures are battle line. They're in a much better place, right? We're at plus 50% win rate, I think, in the big meta picture, but we're doing very good. And I wanted to play them again in this tournament, in this event, but if we're all playing Imperium, someone gets the allies, someone gets the assassins, right? We could probably all use them. Grey Knights love them, Custodes love them, Sisters maybe to a lesser degree, but still in the conversation for sure. So I basically said to the guys, I was like, look, I want to play Knights, but I probably don't want to play Knights if I can't run a Cowardice Assassin, which maybe is like a crutch. You can make the argument that it is, but she's so good. She offers so much to the Knights that it's like obviously the mobility, the secondary scoring, but honestly the thing that I probably used the most, and when it gets like that mid-game point, was using her Vect ability, her 12-inch aura of making strats cost more, because a lot of actually used a lot. We'll get to maybe some pairings and some matchups, but into Death Guard when they have their -1 damage strat, which already costs 2.
Yep.
That costing 3 means you're not using it.
Yeah.
Right. If
And it is a battle tactic, which is the worst.
Dude.
Yeah. It is.
So I did play my Imperial Knights.
Yeah.
I got the okay from the boys in the team to run the Imperial Knights, and I was the only one that went undefeated on the weekend. Just saying, gents.
So you bullied us into taking the Calidus, and if you didn't,
That's right.
we wouldn't have had our full Imperium list. And because of that, you went undefeated.
That's right.
We're a team.
I bullied you, and it worked out super well.
Exactly. Hey, second place.
So I played Imperial Knights, did pretty good. Yeah, like Mark said, we did come in second place. It was a very. We actually came in second place in our trios event too.
Yep.
And we somehow, we're not salty about it, but we somehow didn't get best overall in either of them. Just saying. Come on, Warhammer gods will smile on us one day, but it just means we have to win all of our games. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah. If you want to win a trophy, just win all your games.
Just win all your games. Get best general. Kick Adam off there again because he got the podium or the first place in the last one and this one too. So. Yeah.
So another fun part about the weekend as well is that we did mention in the last podcast when we had Fraser on here, but we all as Calgary guys, there's 8 of us. There's 2 teams, and we all got an Airbnb together, had a house together.
So much fun.
And it was a lot of fun because, after round 2, day 1, we were first place.
Yeah.
And we got paired up right with those boys, the ones we're staying with.
Yeah.
Right in the morning, so we all knew. So we're all trying to get each other drunk in some capacity. Like, just here's one more beer. Hey, do you want me to get you a beer? I'll get you that. So, don't worry about it, right? And we had a good steak dinner that night. We went mini golfing.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a fun time, and it really brought like a little bit of competitiveness, but also some fun too.
Oh, it was a super fun dynamic.
It creates that like awesome atmosphere that we all thrive in this community.
100%. Good dynamic because we know that we're going into each other the next day. I don't think pairings were even up, but I think just mathematically we had to go into each other the next day.
Yeah.
So we're just
determined first or second.
So we're all talking. I'm trying not to swear before the first 10 minutes. I'm talking trash all night, drinking, eating good steaks. It was really a really good time. But I was gonna say, we could probably dive into pairings, how the tournament went generally.
Why don't we explain how the pairings work? Because that was unique. It's better for an 8-man, but it was on a 4-man.
Sure. Yeah, it was a 4-man event, and basically, oh geez, I guess I was the one doing it, but I'm trying to remember how it worked. You basically picked each team picked a defender. We throw 2 attackers at them. The defending team declines one of the attackers. Those 2 declined attackers attack each other. Then obviously the chosen pairings go through, and then there was one fall through. So pretty simple. We did a 4-man teams event that was a lot more complicated than that. What did you guys think about this one pairing wise? Do you like it better? Or?
I probably liked it better because of the simplicity.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that other one was roll-offs, and you each pick a defender, but whoever wins the roll-off, their defender stays and they're protected. And then the other team picks a match, and then they can choose to throw the defender. And it was just really convoluted and more complicated than it had to be. So I kind of like this setup more at this tournament.
And that's so that tournament was hosted by Trident Wargaming, and I was talking to Scotty B about that, right? And Scotty B, if you're watching, love you, you're the best. Obviously no slight. What he was trying to do was just make it a little bit more dynamic, right? Because the simplicity is great because we get to the games faster, away we go. But having a little bit more depth to pairing, you can only have so much depth in a 4-man. I think that's probably what it comes down to, or even a 3-man or whatever. When you have an 8-man format, this kind of simple structure works well because you have lots of play with your 8 people.
100%.
Now, with saying that though, part of me did like that you could, if you won that roll off and you took the defender position and kept your defender, that you could, you had a matchup that you didn't like that wasn't in your matrix that you made with your team. You could be like, hey, you know what? No, actually, we want this player to go into that match. And then the other team gets to pick the next 2 matches, right?
Right, yes.
And so that was kind of neat, but I did like the simplicity of kind of this past weekend.
No, it's a good point. That whole protected player dynamic was cool because you could sub in your protected player. You could really, and we did that with you a few times in that. We should talk about this event, but in a previous event, when you have a protected player and the way they did it, you had a protected player. They couldn't be picked for pairings at all, but you could sub them in. So a lot of times that was when you were playing your CSM.
Yep.
And you were like our assassin. We're like, okay, who's the soft matchup, or what's the matchup you want to slam into? As soon as they got paired in, we just slam Mark into them, and you 20-0'd like 5 people that day, that weekend, or 4 people, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was 3 out of 5 matches.
So good, so much fun.
That's the thing with teams too. You can really get get the matchups you want, and it's a lot of fun that way.
Well, that's why
And I like that we're working together.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like a team.
We're like a
You know,
team.
we met at Tim Hortons the day before on Sunday, and really decided what we want to do against the boys, and I thought we lost that round, but man, did it work out well. It worked out exactly the way you planned it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Check on you guys as well, and be like, okay, yeah, you know what? I need you to push or do this. And we were told from the TO that we could give information like that, but not detailed stuff. And so that communication aspect, if there was a bit of strife in any of the games, it's a lot of fun. Again, it adds a different dynamic to that competitive aspect, which is a lot of fun.
Do you think your list would be different if you went to a singles event compared to a teams event?
Yes, because I would have used
Assassin?
some agents. I would have used Kyria Draxis, and
That's what it would be. It would just be using the agents.
I probably would have used some agents for sure, but otherwise, Custodes, I think, are in a place where they're pretty strong against most armies. If I know how that army is run, I can play pretty effectively into anything, and that's kind of, I think, what we looked at in this tournament with me as a Custodes player.
Further to that point, teams. In addition to all the fun team bonding type stuff you get to do in a teams event, your faction selection can be a little bit more specialized, right? I've played Knights, and this was obviously in Leviathan. I haven't played them a ton in singles in Pariah Nexus, but Knights, for example, is obviously a skew army, right? Custodes, to a certain degree, is a skew army, right?
When you say skew, do you mean stat check?
Sorry, stat check, yeah. I get those mixed in my head. They kind of sound the same to me, but yes, so a stat check is more accurate, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where there are armies out there, if you're in a singles atmosphere, if I'm playing my Imperial Knights and I get in singles, and I just get paired into Tau or somebody that can match that stat check, I'm just hosed, right? There's no getting around it. You're just going to try squeak out a win if you can help it. Where in a team's atmosphere, you have the opportunity to dodge those bad matchups, right? Going in, Ben cannot play into Tau, right? Okay, then we build from there, right? We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. So you have the opportunity to kind of play a little bit more off meta, maybe a little bit more, I don't know, you can just customize your win path, right? It's much easier that way. So that's what's fun too.
Yeah, and that's really goes on to the strength of a team, right? Because they have to know their matchups, and you have to understand, which ones are you good against, which ones are you bad against, which ones you're willing to sacrifice for the team to do.
Yep.
And it comes down to, I think the main one is, Grey Knights, Imperial Knights. You really don't want to see that matchup, right? Especially if you have a Grey Knight player. I wouldn't want to throw Jeremy into an Imperial Knights.
I would not want to play Imperial Knights.
Right? And then that's when the team aspect comes together, right? But if you're in a singles event, you randomly get paired to an Imperial Knights because they're doing so well. You're well, fuck, tough. Right? And it is what it is. And then you have to figure a way to win, and then I think your list in particular could probably do it because of the Librarians, but it's still tough. Yep. It's still not an easy win, but on a typical Grey Knight list where they don't have as many Librarians as you do, the chances of their winning is very slim.
Yeah, your margin of error shrinks.
Yeah.
So a mistake will
it goes way down. Well, and a good fantastic example is the team that, so the boys we stayed with, they were fighting under the team name the Florida Panthers, which was just a troll because we're playing at Edmonton, obviously. But they are actually Prairie Fire Wargaming. Are those all the guys? Are
Prairie Fire Wargaming. I think they're the best team in Canada, or second best team in Canada.
No, really?
Yeah.
Damn. So for those familiar with the podcast, that would be David Corrin, Fraser Perry. We had Adam Green on the show as well, and Nate. I don't remember his last name. It's
S.
It has
Nate, your last name is S.
And it has a bunch of Z's in there too. Love you, Nate.
That's what it is.
But they were.
I don't want to pronounce it. I want to.
Scragresudi.
Hey, there you go.
Okay, for all you identities out there, that's what his last name is. Go. Your social insurance
number
is.
I got him on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, there you go.
Segrazudi.
Nate let us know how much he butchered that. But so they. I don't know if they were the team to beat. There was a couple of really good teams out there.
Agreed.
But we knew that at some point we're probably going to be facing them. Like we said, we did play them round three on Saturday morning.
Day one, or first match of day
on Sunday
two.
morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sunday morning. Thank you. But more to the pairings thing, we know that David is a fantastic Grey Knights player, but he does not want the heat from the Imperial Knights. There's no chance we want that. We knew that. They knew that. It's not. No one's fooling anybody there. But knowing that completely changes how we approach that matchup, right? Like I said, when we're sitting at Tim Hortons or the night before, we're like, okay, they're 9.999 times out of 10 they're going to defend with David to ensure that doesn't happen, because he doesn't have a bad matchup really anywhere else.
And it's just because when they defend with David, he gets to opt out. We get to throw 2 attackers at him, and then he gets to opt which one he wants to do, so you can kind of force the matchup that way. Right? And we use that to our advantage to kind of predict what they were going to do.
It's a lot of information. It's and that's how it went. It was funny with I think after our games, just we'll get to the actual games in a moment here, but we got the matchups we wanted. Like, I think pairings went our way. After it was all said and done, Adam said it also went the way they wanted it to go.
So if they won, I guess they're right.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe. I guess we'll find out.
But
we can get more specific though. Let's dive in. I don't know if we want to dig into like every single game of every single round.
I think we can go. How about this? Just for the viewers, how about we? If you guys would like it, I mean, it's not live, so yeah, the listeners. Why don't we just go round by round and what we decided to do? We can talk a quick synopsis and then we'll move on from there.
Okay, I'll have to pull up the thing. Give me a sec here.
Oh, well, round 1, we got paired up with, I forget the name of the team. Really, really nice guys. What do? We defended with me.
I think it was their first tournament too.
I don't think it was their first tournament, but they were newer players though.
So
3 of the 4
I think we defended with
armies.
me. We defended with me. I got Custodes. You got World Eaters. Jeremy got World Eaters.
Yeah.
And then Mark, you got
Gladius Task Force Space Marine.
That's right.
Vehicle heavy.
Vehicle via Space Marines.
Oh, and that would make sense on their part to like kind of give you some vehicles, but with your lethal hits karate, it kind of can go away. And your your Custodes tank.
Yeah.
And
well, actually, my Caladius whiffed in the first 3 rounds.
You were saying.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I only dealt 3 wounds on a vehicle.
On a D6 plus 2.
On a D6 plus 2. Yeah, like seriously, he literally saved everything in 3 rounds except for 1. But if the Cladius didn't whiff, I would have 20-0'd him, but I 18-2'd for a finish.
I have a small beef with Cladius tanks.
Oh,
they should be 4-up like the rest of your army. I think it's stupid.
Nah, I don't like that. That's a hot take, and I want you to take it back.
No,
take it back.
The points, but make everything the same, and it's what Custodes would do. Why do they have their soldiers as super awesome, and then here's a tank that's
because the soldiers have the gene seed of the Emperor. The tank does not.
Yeah, but what about the dreadnoughts?
Okay. Well, fair enough.
So that's something that bugged me in 9th. That bugged me in 9th because the Achilles Contemptor has a 5-up, but
they just do all their vehicles with a 5-up.
Yeah.
Well, you want to make the rules simple but not simple, but then you just do something like that.
Exactly.
I just don't get it. So G-Dab, fix it.
Anyways.
Fix it, James. And I went into Sisters, which was good. I had a bunch of practice.
Oh, you went into Sisters?
Yeah, I had a bunch of practice into your Sisters, so that was really, really helpful. My opponent let me kill. I got first turn, and I let me kill Morvenval's unit on turn 1. So I was like, excellent. That's half the game done here. We're good.
Yeah, and no discredit to him. It's definitely a mistake when you're going into. It's something I've learned too because I've played a lot of games with Sisters now, and when you're going against those bigger type armies, when I mean bigger, I mean like Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, heavy tank.
Stat check. That's what that called. It's called a stat check, Cass.
So you see stack check armies. Keep Morven in reserve.
Yeah.
That way you can get her out. Like, they might block you, and that's fine. But at least you're gonna come out in a position where she can at least kill something. That's the key to it all. Like if you're gonna trade with her, at least kill something. If you just kill a little stupid armiger, at least you got 130 points out of the opponent. Like you didn't just die for nothing.
Yeah.
And in this case, she died for nothing. So it's always about. Especially when you're playing Sisters, it's always about the trade, and I learned this lesson too this weekend because I made a few mistakes. It's about if they're gonna die, at least take something with you.
You have to.
Just
trade.
That's it.
Yeah, you have to trade up. Too, obviously.
Yeah. Well, trade. I mean, ideally, like I think Morvenval only died twice, once this weekend.
Yeah.
No, twice. No, right at the end of round 5. That is, so twice technically. Yeah. But man, there was 2 matches. I had her running around and doing what she does. till round 5.
Something
That
like
is ridiculous.
Yep.
That's too much. I think she took 1,500 points at one match with her.
Oh, I believe it. She's
Yeah.
absolute menace. As
Yeah.
soon as I saw the opportunity, I was like, she needs to die right now.
Yeah. Or if you see that, you're like,
And-
oh my
and I will
god,
say her-
my eyes would be
Oh.
like this. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Went out of my head. And also, her.
Yeah.
It's worth noting, her without her unit is not even close to the power.
Not the same.
Her by herself, not even that scary.
Well, don't get in combat with her, but yeah.
She's not in combat. She just doesn't have access to rerolls anymore. Like, just it turns off all the good stuff. Right.
It's just the 8 attacks to have wounds is the shitty part. But
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. She can do something. She can do something.
Yeah. She just
But
just something.
We did we had a very good first round. I think Cass, you had the hardest matchup. You did
I was a
yours.
defender though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did defend with you. They threw Custodes at you. We managed. We did, for whatever reason, we took that matchup. I don't think it's a bad matchup necessarily at all.
No.
You did take it down with a 12-8. I went 20-0. Jeremy went 20-0, and Mark went 18-2. So, really good round for us. I think that was the team that didn't, like, some of their armies weren't painted, so like
Yeah.
the scores were a little bit skewed.
3 of the 4 armies were
Not battle ready.
ready.
Right.
So we got that 10 points to start. But,
Right.
you know, is what it is.
Yeah, no, it was a good match. I thought he played really well. I thought he moved his. He had more Venatari than you did, Mark. I thought he moved it quite well. I did put him in situations where he had to move the Venatari back to hold his home objective, which is, how many points are they? 200 some?
So for 3, I think it's 180
Okay.
points.
So I shut down 180 points for my 85 essentially by riding to his back. Like I deep strike Seraphim,
Nice.
shot, scooted onto the home objective, and that way he had to run back and at least deal with that problem. And that gives me 2 or 3 turns, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Like that he can't really do it. And they only move 10 inches, so I use it to my advantage.
Yeah.
I did make a mistake early in turn 1. I advanced my Paragons a little too close that he was able to charge and then pile in and actually tag them and get rid of them. So I gave him 300 points when I shouldn't have. I didn't mind giving him 150, but the extra 200 was a difficult part for me, and I made a mistake there. So I had to play really tight for the next game. So that's why it was such a close game at 12-8. But I was like, holy shit, I traded poorly, and I had to make an adjustment.
Make up for it.
Yeah. And Morvenval again survived and killed everything, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
Yep, I did what I was supposed to. I took on World Eaters, killed
Yeah.
killed Angron turn 1, killed Angron turn 2.
Wait, he died
What?
and came back in turn 2?
Yeah.
Wait,
I
you
didn't
killed
hear
him
that.
turn 1,
That's
I killed him
hilarious.
turn 1
and he rolled 3 6s.
and came back, so I killed him turn 2 because he
How did you kill him 2 rounds in a row?
3 librarians and Drago. Just
yeah.
Angron just
Good answer,
melts,
good answer.
yeah.
For the viewers at home, Drago is anti-demon.
Anti-demon,
Yeah.
anti-demon range attack and melee attack.
loves it, eh?
And if you spend the 2 CP for Radiant Strike, you're dealing Dev on 2+
Oh, Jesus.
for 3 damage a shot on all 6 of his attacks, so 18 damage.
Smash him.
Yeah, I just killed Angron. I killed everything. I tabled him turn 3, I believe. 20-0. It was the expected outcome when Grey Knights are fighting demons. So.
I think so. Yeah, that was good. I think that was
Yeah.
good pairing process for us. Round 1, newer players.
I thought they played really well. Like my opponent he was good.
Yeah, good team.
Yeah.
We had an interesting scenario going into game 2 on the first day, because I remember we all sat down and grabbed some shawarma with the other boys, and we scored super well in that first round. Like that was a 70 point win.
Yep.
And we're all sitting there flying high. We did super well, and then we saw that somebody on a different team that we had never heard of. I don't think anybody had heard of. Nerdpocalypse scored 78 in their round.
Crushed
They
them.
gave up
Yep.
2 points.
They crushed their opponents.
Absolutely crushed them.
Yeah.
And we're all like, we don't recognize the names. Like we're pretty dialed into the who's who and like who's all the big dogs and stuff like that. So we're like, who are these guys? Are they just like unknown savants or something like that? So we got paired into them second round. And
Yeah.
I think before we like sat down at the table and did like pairing stuff, we're all kind of like, okay, we better like put on our big boy pants and like we might have a real thing here. Nicest guys in the world. I remember as we're doing pairings, I even asked them, I think you might have been in the washroom, we were kind of waiting or like just mulling around for a minute, and I was like, do you guys just crush tournaments all the time? Like, what's your story? And they're like, no, this is our first tournament.
Yep.
That was their first tournament, and they just happened to go into a less experienced team and absolutely demolish them. What was the term that Adam used? Seals clubbing other seals.
Yes, seals clubbing seals.
Affectionately, they were the nicest guys. I think we gave them our sportsmanship vote.
Yeah, we did.
They were fantastic dudes.
Super fun.
And even they said, they were like, yeah, I think we might have flown too close to the sun with this one. It got paired into us.
Yeah, they were awesome opponents.
They were
Actually,
super fun.
I had a ride of a match.
Yeah. Well, Cass, why don't you start us off? Do you remember what we played second round?
Yeah, I wasn't defender this round. I was one of the attackers, and no, we put you as defender. And I was one of the attackers, and the Tyranid player wanted to go against me. In hindsight, it's his first tournament. I think he knows it's a mistake because he was like more of a monster mash kind of Tyranid. Tyranid one. So with Morven Vol and the second unit of Paragons, Paragon units have +1 to hit and wound against monsters and vehicles, and I have basically 600 points dedicated to that. So it becomes like a very, very difficult matchup for them. He charged up with his Zorn in the center. It was dead. He charged up with I think he had a Maliceptor and the other the one with the acid spray. I can't remember what its name was. And then the other one with the big gun out of his face.
Exocrine.
Exocrine. Yeah, Exocrine.
Exocrine is the brain gun.
Yeah,
and then
brain gun.
There's the mouth tentacle face guy. I don't know.
So I just kind
The
of
technical Tyranid.
I kind of hid
yeah,
and
yeah.
and let my Paragons do the work. I did.
Hell yes.
I did reserve Morven just because I didn't know where she wanted to be. Depending on where he loaded his monsters, is where she wants to be.
Right, of course.
So what ended up happening is that he put the Norn, I got rid of it, and then he put up a whole bunch in a line, and I was just able to kind of like one turn just kill 4 or 5 of them. And I mean that's just the power of Morven Vol's unit in general. She did survive all the way to the end, and again I think she killed 1,500 points in this matchup. To his credit, I think it's an absolutely terrible matchup for him to go into something like that, and it's not going to make it easy. He even had Gene Stealers out with the Swarm Lord.
Yep.
And they have a Scout 9.
Yep.
Sorry, Scout 8, Move 8, and can get on my Expansive real quick.
Yep.
But I just guard my Expansive with my Seraphim unit, which is, the Flamers. So it's just, it makes it just like absolutely terrible for him. Like whatever he's going to throw at me, I have the exact counter for it. So it made it a difficult matchup, and I ended up 20-0ing it. But to his credit, like he was a good player. He was playing the right moves when he needed to do. And it was just a bad matchup.
Yeah, that Tyranid list probably didn't really have a great matchup into any of us. I think maybe Grey Knights is probably where they want to go, but we probably don't ever let that happen.
Probably Grey Knights would have been the best for their
them.
team.
Yeah.
But against our
against our team,
yeah.
that would have been their best choice.
We just don't let that happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I went into Eldar that second round.
That was your first time going against Eldar too.
No. I played.
Ozzy.
I played Ozzy.
Okay.
Ozzy's
That's
Eldar.
That's real Eldar.
That was.
Yeah.
That was an experience. I was Canoptic Court Necrons. Couldn't do nothing against them. But so I was super cautious. Like they already said that this is their first tournament, but you never know. Like Eldar are one of those armies that are deceptively tough and deceptively hit hard. Like this little what are they called, Warp Spider unit all of a sudden just hits you with like 7 dev wounds out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, okay, well that sucks.
And they can advance. I am in front of your face.
They can whatever it's called. It's not to jump in Eldar, but it's like
it's like I'm just gonna be here.
Is it Blitz? I don't know, whatever it's called.
Blitz, yeah.
But and then whatever the fire warriors or fire something, they've got like anyway, whatever they're called. We don't know names, but I respected his threats. I think I hid. Oh, and he also had a big block of Wraith Guard, which as a Knights player I'm terrified of. Right, I'm like mortified. Like that's picking up potentially a big Knight in an activation. So I basically played a real coy game, played real conservative. I didn't reveal. I think I threw the Lancer. I don't think I went over my list, but I was playing a Lancer, Canis Rex, and a bunch of Armatures and a Calidus. Super easy list. Ran the Lancer up one flank, basically handled the flank by himself. Staged Canis in the middle until he, we're talking like turn 3, kind of has to show the Wraith Guard. They didn't really I think they might have killed an armiger, and I'm like, okay, in response, Canis just picks up most of the unit to make them ineffective.
Smart.
So played it real cagey. Did manage the 20-0 in that one as well. Not a super hard game, but just because I don't think he had enough tools to take me down if I played it smart, and I just played it. I just played it super cautious, didn't give him nothing, and traded well, like you said.
Just trade well, right?
Just trade well.
And you have, what's the numbers of points? 140?
150 and 140. So
Yeah. So like you kind of like, okay, I always find myself asking like, how many points is that thing worth?
Yes.
Right? Like I'm always asking like, how much is that worth? Okay, cool.
That's a
I'm
good idea.
Gonna do that, right?
Yep.
So we can get mad at James all we want, but they do balance the game. So
as best they can.
yeah, that's good. Jer,
I ended up going against Death Guard that round. Mortarion.
you've had enough practice against Death Guard.
Yeah, I was very, very familiar with that list.
yeah.
Hey, there's a demons player. Let's throw Jeremy out there.
Yeah. Oh, and he plays cast a lot. Okay, I just go against
Yeah, that ended up being a good match. I think 16-4 in my favor.
I got 18-2, my friend.
18-2 on that one. 18-2. Yeah, Mortarion ended up being felled by the Grey Knights. Killed him.
Naturally.
So just like I do. That game started out with me going first. So first turn, I jumped out and popped his Rhino and killed all the Marines inside.
Oh, smart.
After, so
That's the fight first Marines too, right? Like because yeah, smart.
I specifically went after that Rhino.
Yeah, good call.
And then that left him very vulnerable in that one flank. Grey Knights with their maneuverability. Next turn, I just jumped Knights and overwhelmed that one side, and left Drago by himself with a squad to hound Mortarion and on the other flank. So,
and he had to save a CP for potentially -1 damage if he did.
yeah. He ended up running away from Drago and running towards the center with Mortarion.
You're saying Mortarion ran away from Drago?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a story. That's a book.
He dropped in those Death Terminators, whatever they're called.
Death
Shroud.
Yeah.
And used them to try to kill Drago. And then Mortarion
What,
closer to center to try to shore up that side of the board.
What contagion did you choose?
So he chose the -1 ballistic skill
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Mistake.
and weapon skill.
Yeah,
so.
into Grey Knights, it would be armor always,
Armor always.
right?
Yeah, because they're saving on 2s.
Right.
The way I always see it is a dead Grey Knight can't do any damage.
Yeah.
Right? So going against a save, because if putting in your 4s is a lot better than putting you on 3s. Like, yeah, you can hit as well, but you have a million fucking attacks.
Yeah.
So who cares about that?
He did well killing stuff, but I was running 3 Brotherhood Terminator squads with Narthecium, so I just resurrected a Terminator every turn.
But
he'd get it down low with the Librarian, and then I wouldn't have to roll Battle Shock, and then next thing you know, I'm up to 4 guys in the squad again.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think people realize how Death Guard is actually a killy army. It's not a defensive army. They're more shooty, and with the extra AP, that's what kills people.
Right.
Yeah.
So in your situation, putting them from your 2-up armor to 4-up armor is just, I think it's just massive. I think it's a massive thing where like your units, the amount of points you put into even just one model, it just trades better, and you can, kind of mitigate the game. It's not an ideal matchup, but you want to at least put you down to 4s and not 3s.
Yeah.
Because if I'm shooting you with like a fucking bolter, I want to hit you. I want to make you save on 3s.
Yeah.
Not 2s.
Yeah.
That's what I would
That's how
want
you
to
get
do,
that little
right?
chip damage. Like
Yeah.
that chip damage all of a sudden matters. If he's saving on 2s, you're not getting anything.
You're not getting
Ever.
anything through.
Not
It's
once.
like
That's a good
Archer
point.
against
Good point.
Grey
Yeah.
Knights, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Two up armor and ability to True Silver, AOC.
Right, but then-
it makes it really hard.
And here's where I have a debate against this, because that's what Mortarion's for.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you bring him in, because then you have the -1 save. But if I bring him in the Contagion, you can True Silver armor you want. It's not going to make anything. It's not going to do anything. So that's why it's better than reducing your ability to kill them, because I don't think they're already tough to begin with. They don't have a feeling of pain for the most part. They're toughness 5, but you're hitting with strength 6 weapons, and I don't like you're wounding me the same amount anyways.
Yeah.
So why not try to kill you instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was a mistake. Not to call you out, man.
Well,
but I played
Cass is
Death Guard.
calling him out.
In the end,
you made a mistake.
in the end, the
Yeah.
Librarians ended up killing Mortarion.
Oh, for sure.
Drago couldn't get close enough to
And
him
couldn't
because he
roll a
ran
fire,
away,
feel no pain for
and I
that.
didn't send a squad in to fight him. I just beamed him from afar with Librarians.
Awesome.
4 or 5 mortals a turn from 3 different Librarians. He lasted to turn 3 and then he died.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, did he gift decay it too, like to heal it?
he did do a heal as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2 games, you killed 2 kind of 3
Yeah.
demon primarchs.
Yeah. I had to.
We were trying to track
had to
down.
double tap Angron to make sure he stayed down,
right,
and,
yeah.
then I got Mortarion.
Then you got Mortarion, and we were talking about that.
I wanted to
that
be
night.
I wanted to pair against a Thousand
That's
Suns
right.
player in the last 2 rounds, but
Yeah, I get the hat trick.
I gotta get the hat trick.
But that was not to be.
No.
Spoiler alert, it was not to be. Sorry, guys.
Next teams. Mark, how's your match?
So I had a mirror match. I played another Custodes Shield
right.
host, and he was running, I want to say, 6 Alaris Terminators with an Alaris Terminator Captain, Trajan with a squad of Wardens. He had 2 Caladius Grav Tanks with a...
2.
2
Wow.
And a land raider.
I don't mind
and
2.
a Venerable Land Raider.
Oh.
So
That
he,
was the list. I was like, please no, I don't
he,
want that one.
he had lots. He
Yeah,
had
please no.
lots of heavy shooting, and
Wow.
So I got matched up with him because
Cool.
he and I were deferred. We weren't attackers, so we just got matched up.
Yep, that's
And
right.
again, it went really, really well. It was 20-0. New player, new tournament. So at the start of the game, he went first. And on my shield captain, I have him with Pyrite Spear and Shield, and I run him with Pyrite Spear squad with a Castellan's Mark, so I get to do some redeploy shenanigans at the start of the game. So I put him up into Deep Strike when I had my 2 Venatari in Deep Strike as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew just to kind of, like I do, I just kind of try to play cagey a little bit with some melee armies like Custodes and World Leaders and stuff until they get close enough so I can avoid the charge.
And what's the Venatari trick?
The Venatari, well, they get free rapid ingress even if it's already been used, and so I can do a triple rapid ingress, and it's awesome if I get second turn
For 0 CP.
for 0 CP, because I can use the -1 CP strat from the shield captain to come in for free, and then the Venatari to come in right afterwards.
Great.
And so at the very start of the game on turn 1, like, he came in a little bit, deployed his wardens. I moved my Witch Seekers up, scouted with them, and I move blocked so that he couldn't actually charge or make a charge or have a harder one. And then come second turn, I rapid ingress my shield captain in his back line behind one of his grav tanks and Venatari in as well. And at the start of the game, we were kind of both shy about whose grav tank is where, because we know the power of those things, even though mine whiffed in game 1. And
Still the same unit.
yeah, exactly.
It still can do
what?
damage.
And my Caladius whiffed in the second game too. I think I put like 8 to 12 shots into his Land Raider, and it didn't die. So the Caladius didn't drop the Land Raider, and then he brought Trajan with the Wardens into the center, and instead of shooting the Witch Seekers off, he decided to charge them, which I kind of felt was a mistake, because then it staged me perfectly to come in with my Blade Champion and Guard Squad, as well as another Guard Squad.
Yeah.
So I came in with both of those units and used their once per game ability to shoot twice.
Right, yeah.
And I think I shot 4 of his 5 Wardens off. He
Jesus.
didn't use their once per game ability to get
remember
the
you
4
mentioned
up
that.
Feel No Pain.
Right.
And so 4 of the Wardens were gone, and then I charged in with both units, and he still didn't use the 4 up Feel No Pain. I think he was kind of in disbelief that I killed the Land Raider and the Grav Tank and all of his Wardens, and he didn't even use Trajan's Moment Shackle, and I was kind of like hinting like, hey, Moment Shackle.
Right.
And I don't know if he heard me or what, but I wiped Trajan, and it was a pretty one-sided game after the second round with that triple rapid ingress.
Yeah, that triple rapid ingress is so spicy because you can almost not discard a flank, but ignore a flank, basically feint, right? I'm not going to go this way at all. They lack of defend it or don't screen it, then all of a sudden, bam, 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 you can slam 3 units.
Well, and that's the thing.
That's wild.
That's the thing is Venatari with that free rapid ingress, they pump out so much damage with Lance.
Yeah, right.
That even heavy walkers like Knights and stuff, you could take a Knight down with 3 Venatari
100%.
in one round.
Yep.
And with that rapid ingress, I'd drop them in, keep them safe. You can't shoot them.
Yep.
And then they get a 10-inch move right afterwards, and then I could
You're wherever you want to be.
I'm wherever I want to be.
You're wherever you want to be. Yeah.
Right.
And they're really like, even their pistols are good. Like
They're regular spears, right? Hitting on 2, strength 4, AP 1, 2 damage each.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I really like that about them. And also I like, I mean, they're monsters in combat too.
Yep, and they have the free fallback shooting charge as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
right.
that's really
right.
good.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah. So that round went our way as well. So so that team 78-2 to their previous opponent, then we 78-2 to them. So it was a bit of a reversal in that regard.
Not seals clubbing seals, but us clubbing seals.
No,
I don't know. I don't know if we're the hunters necessarily in this thing, but
you know,
we had a good round.
Well, we had, and we met some new players, and they thanks for following the podcast.
Yeah, these guys were awesome.
Yeah, they
They were great.
My guy gave me a little.
I had such a fun time with them.
Oh, I
Yeah.
had a great. Like we genuinely gave them our best sport because they were super fun. The guy I beat, he's like, "Hey, me and my buddy do this thing where whenever we win a game, we give like a trophy or something." He's like, "Do you want an Eldar head?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want an Eldar head."
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
He brought it the next day.
Really?
I have a little plumed Eldar head.
Really
Yeah,
cool.
you beat me. Hey, do you want an Eldar head?
Yeah.
You could toss on one of your bases. I thought that was so cool and a great
I was like,
idea.
absolutely.
Oh, that's so fun. That's what I love with this community, right? Like,
Hell yeah,
you just
dude.
come
Yeah.
here, okay, we lost, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that was a great guy.
cool. All right, round 2 ended. We're first place and feeling good. Feeling
Yeah,
good.
round 2, we are confidently in first. There's like I said, there was some skill discrepancy in the tournament just generally, but there was undoubtedly some other like top dogs out there. Obviously, the Florida Panthers were there. Trident had 2 teams there, so they're
Trident
always
black, Trident gold.
yeah, they're always good to watch out for. Like there's other big dogs out there, so like we were confident, obviously after a good day of games, but we knew day 2 was going to be where it's proving time. Like it's time to
We did an
you know,
uphill battle.
it's time to nut up or shut up, as the kids say.
Yeah.
But that night, like I said, we were bunking with. We got a big Airbnb. We're bunking with a few of the other guys. The
Florida Panthers.
Florida. I was gonna say the Prairie Fire Wargaming boys. And we, like I said, had a few drinks, had some really good steaks. Had to figure out the steak situation. We played a fantastic board game that we think we found in the house called Ladies' Night. We learned a
It
lot
was the
about.
only board game in the house.
I think Jeremy actually brought something else.
You did,
I was going to say,
did,
even if
but-
it wasn't the only board
It
game
was the
there,
thing
it
we're
was
gonna
the
play.
one we all wanted to play.
Secretly, we all wanted to
It
play.
was
yeah.
basically we learned a lot about each other's deep, intimate secrets, and we learned. We had a great time.
Yeah.
Ben, I think you put it best though. Like, if you want to get a bunch of guys to learn how to gossip, you got to make a game out of it. And we had to play Ladies' Night, and there had to be some kind of competition. So
Yes.
whenever we got an answer right, we got a card, which is the point.
That's right.
And that's what we wanted to strive for. We wanted to strive for, like, I will get the most emotional impact in this next story.
Yeah, we're not always the most emotionally available in the world. So yeah, if you gamify gossip, like you said, we're in. We're 100%
Yeah,
in. A
it's,
few drinks and some
Oh,
food
you want
later.
me to spill the beans? Hey?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I'll
want to
spill
hear my
beans.
most traumatic moment ever?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know where I got my first kiss? Just you wait. So it was a wonderful
Wow,
night.
what a great night.
Shout out to those boys. That was a great time.
Oh, man,
but we
that's so
knew
fun.
Yeah.
going into day 2 that we were going to face them. Just mathematically, it was going to go down. So like we talked strategy. I think me and Cass the whole drive home in the Airbnb. Me and Jeremy talked at some point in the night.
And
Like
you guys did the drive
Yeah.
home back, and
we talked long and hard about what the plan was, what the matrix looks like, what the matchups were, and we kind of like mentioned it before. We knew Dave didn't want the Imperial Knights matchup. Obviously, he doesn't. So going into day 2, I guess I'll pull it up because I don't remember who faced who.
I do. So
Yeah, I do
the main strategy. Actually, Mark or Jed, do you want to take it away for the main strategy for it? Because I think we end up following your plan.
Yeah,
I
so-
know what it is.
Yeah, so the main strategy was that when it came to Adam Green's Votan, we felt that Cass's sisters had the best chance of playing into them, and we kind of wanted to have the best opportunity to guarantee that matchup. And so we were trying to think of who they would actually attack with, and we didn't think that they would necessarily attack with David and his Grey Knights.
Yeah.
And Cass felt pretty comfortable playing into any one of their lists, which was Chaos Cultists,
Yep.
World Eaters, Grey Knights, and Votan.
Yep.
And so since he felt the most comfortable, we could take away some of the matchups that the rest of us felt uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
by seeing who they'd throw into cast, and it kind of worked out perfectly because when we put him up as defender, they threw in Chaos Cultists and Votan into him, and we wanted him to have that Votan matchup. But then they put David up, like we said, as a Grey Knights player.
To avoid the Imperial Knights.
To avoid the Imperial Knights, and we threw Imperial Knights into him, and we put Jeremy into him as well. And he picked the mirror match for Grey Knights on Grey Knights, and then that meant that Cass played Votan, and then Knights was into Chaos Cultists, and then Custodes was into World Eaters.
And the stage was set for an epic throwdown.
Yeah, I guess I'll lead it off then as a defender here, and then we can go into your match, which you tied.
Sure.
And then
Well,
we'll
spoiler.
go.
Spoiler alert. Come on.
And then we'll go into yours. So, man, what an incredibly difficult game. I think I was the one who almost got to time in this game. The archetypes themselves play very similarly, except he can't advance and shoot. He just has way more power in the shooting than even I do. Strictly because of judgment tokens. He can +1 to hit, +1
Wild.
to wound. And he also has decent durability. Everything's pretty much at 5 toughness, just much like a Death Guard army would be. So he's like a Sister's Death Guard put together in a way, with a little bit more mobility because he has the scout option with Sagittars. And the Pioneers, which those bikes are amazing.
Oh, they're nuts.
I think they a 3-man can do 21 shots of various weapons. All AP -1, so I do have an advantage that way, and I don't think I utilize that the right way. This is my first time ever going against Votan for some reason, and but not first time against Adam. So Adam, I've never been able to beat him. He's an incredible player.
Great player.
He's very good at shooty armies. That's why we had him on the podcast for the Astra Mill. And he used to play Eldari against me too. He's really good at like fighting those lanes and really knowing how to trade well. I felt like I made a few mistakes where I didn't go after his early expansive objective, which I think I could have. I could have probably chose my deep strikes a little bit better because I had a Zephyr unit and not a Seraphim unit. I should have probably switched those two. And then also I had the big blob Seraphim unit that could trade anything. But I think the way the matchup would go, he's just going to kill it no matter what with a deep strike of Hearthguard, which is his Terminators.
Rapid ingress them somewhere.
Yeah, and either way, they're going to move 5 inches and 4 inch charge him. So I should just trade them poorly, but offset his position. Is what I really should have done. But again, this is a lesson learned, and that's totally fine. Because man, it was a fucking close game. I was pretty good with my Paragons because he was super afraid of them. He had a Hecaton, the Land Fortress, and he had 2 Sagittars. And those things, Morventhal, the Paragon's just going to pick those units up. Even the Terminators, they have a 4-up save and a 5-up invol. Morventhal and all the rest of them is going to pick him up too. Like, I can shoot, charge, I can just kill it. And what ended up happening was that he had a Terminator unit in play, moved it up, staged it to always take the center objective. So I didn't put anything there unless I wanted something to be there that he could charge into to expose the Termies. He was waiting for my Paragons to be exposed to show his Termies. I was waiting for his Termies to show my Paragons.
Yeah, you're playing a little game of chicken.
We were playing this, exactly. He played his Hecaton so well. It was right behind. And I was just waiting for it to show up. It has a 4 damage profile, which is 1 Paragon dead. So I had to be very, very careful when I placed it. I might have overextended on turn 3, but I don't think it overextended enough. If I did overextend more, I think the matchup would have been a little bit better because he had more options with his shooting, and that might have been the better choice because I should have just chose to go because Hecaton ended up picking up an emulator or something, which was marked for death target. I can't remember exactly how the game went, but near the end, I was able, because I went second and we were playing Purge the Foe, so I did have an advantage.
That's a quick point, if you don't mind me interrupting.
No, please.
Purge the Foe, we talked about this, everybody knew this going in. Purge the Foe was the perfect mission for us into their lists. We are, with the exception of Sisters maybe, all supremely elite lists. Not that there's, some of them were, but we definitely had the advantage with Purge the Foe.
I might have I do agree with you mostly. I think that the Cursed Cultist one though, because the units are so big,
that is the weird one for sure.
That is difficult, and also he doesn't have a lot of MSU with the Votan, and then Grey Knights are super elite too. The only one that I think that it actually does benefit is actually against the World Leaders.
The MSU World Leaders from Fraser, right?
But again, he's still very elite as well.
But we're definitely in the advantage in that mission. You don't think?
I think I offset it.
Oh, you think you
Yeah.
not having the advantage makes it almost equal?
Right. Because I think because I run 19 units in my list, I think
Of course,
it slightly
yeah,
offsets.
it feels bad, obviously.
I really hate that mission with my sisters, but it is what it is, and you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, so that's what you mean. Sorry, going back to your trading, right? Like.
Yeah, and I think I
best you
could have. You know, I think we talked about the beginning of the podcast here, and I moved them in later, and I made some pretty cool moves.
Some cool moves, yeah. Oh yeah, you punked
fucking
him. Yeah, yeah.
21 inch, 24 inch, but
Just
see you
fly
later.
up there, yeah.
But ultimately, he outplayed me, and it was really good. I ended up with a 12-8. So that's my match. I find I've learned a lot more about sisters. I'm, nowhere near a pro, but yeah, going against elite players like him, it really helps my growth. So I'm appreciative of it. So.
100%. And like, if you, like you said, first time ever playing Votan?
Yeah, but I do know Votan quite well. I do study.
Right,
you
were saying you actually researched the matchup quite a bit.
I
but
them.
it's but
I love them.
They're
awesome.
super cool. They're
awesome.
deceptively strong. Like I don't think they're lighting up like podium placements, but man, do they hit like a truck. And from places you don't expect, right? Because those bikes have a ton of mobility.
Strength 7 on the bikes picks up ammos. How do you?
It's the plus one. It's the plus one to hit and wound that changes the math,
that's
right?
What I'm saying,
all of a
right?
sudden,
So,
different.
yeah.
Which Knights player doesn't want to go into plus like immediately. Both my big Knights and two of my most aggressive
Your
armigers.
greatest strength is now their greatest strength.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My stat check, they're like, yeah, I can check that, all good. And my whole army can just blow you up. It's all good. And I'm like, shit, I don't want that.
Well, we'll go into your match there.
So yeah, I got paired into the weird one. I got paired into the Chaos Space Marines Chaos Cult list. I don't even know how many cultists there are. There was
180?
like 100 plus. I don't know if it's quite 180. 120 plus some like Renegade Guardsmen plus some Beastmen stuff.
Hellbrute.
There was a Hellbrute in there.
That's the action monkey though, right?
No. He's got like a multi-melt on him and stuff. Like he can do stuff. He gives like both of the
lethal and sustained hits when you dark pack.
Pacts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he has the aura of doing that,
Yes.
right? It's a 6-inch aura of lethal sustained.
Gets both, right? So it was into Nate, who's also very good. Very good player, extremely good player, and also playing a wild army very quickly, very efficiently, lots of moving parts. And I even like told him, I'm like, look, I've never played into this kind of army before. I was like, you tell me what whatever the cultist mob, what do they do in combat? Like, tell me, run me through it real quick. How does it work? Right, we had to have a whole quick little
Strength 5
little,
AP -1/2 damage or something.
But +1 to wounds sometimes, and like there's I don't know, it's there's a lot of attacks. Like he's every time he's getting the charge off, and they have advanced and charge once per game, and like all this, they're like stacking buffs, right? There's a lot of rules that make this seemingly weak unit hit like an absolute truck. Like in one instance, between all the saves and my feel no pains and everything, my Knight Lancer was at 24 wounds. And it took, with one charge from one unit of Chaos Cultists, it took 20 damage. That changed the game entirely, right? It's same thing. The Lancer wanted to hold down a flank basically because it has a 4-up invuln always, right? It can kind of, not only does it hit hard, but it can take a punch, right? All of a sudden, it's on 4 wounds, and I'm like, oh, I see. I'm in trouble now.
I'm sorry, sir. Yeah.
Super tough game. I think I played it as well as I probably could have. There were some mistakes. I wasn't maybe as aggressive as I could have been, but I was very lucky as I got first turn. And I think Nate, even during the game, told me this was the case. The Chaos Blob, they all want to just glom up the midboard, and you never score primary, right? I was fortunate that I went first, and I just beelined, right? Like if I'm like, I even told him, I'm like, either I can have this, you're gonna be scratching at my ankles either in my deployment zone or the midboard. I would prefer that happen in the midboard, so I just flew up as fast as I could.
It's really smart.
Yeah, I mean, there's no good option, right? I just had to get guys stuck in, hope that I make saves, hope that I wipe enough cultists to make their units ineffective. They're tough to get through, even for big stompy robots. The TSN turning point of the game. So I was ahead the whole game. I got kill one, kill more. Again, we were in Purge the Foe. Kill one, kill more every single round, just because I have, 9 models on the board, and he has a whole bunch of little dudes that I can just kind of like sweep through every round. I'm killing 4 units around, 3 units around, no problem, right? The very last round of the game, he's infiltrated my backfield. There was a point where I completely had to just abandon my home field objective because it's just not worth it anymore. Pushed across the board to hold primary. The very last round of the game, round 5, I have a last-ditch effort to try score Cull the Horde, which he does have some options on the board, right? There's a whole bunch of cultists everywhere. And I needed my 4 points for kill 1. He had a single cultist survive in 1 unit that was attached to Fabius Bile. Is that his name? Fabius Bile?
Yeah.
Fabius, did I pronounce it wrong?
Fabius?
Fabio Bile.
Yeah.
He had 1 cultist unit with Fabio Bile in it, and Fabio Bile apparently gives them +1 toughness. So they go from T4, or say T3 to T4, whatever the math is. I'm not wounding on 2s anymore, I'm wounding on 3s. That little edge let him 1 cultist survive. And 1 cultist surviving denied me Cull the Horde for 5 points and kill 1 for 4 points. And we ended up tying that game. I would have had a small win. I would have had a 11-9 win. It turned into a 10-10.
Wow.
Super tight. That was like just a razor's edge. Could have gone either way. I was leading 15-5.
I guess we won it anyways as a team for you to tie that match.
No, we wouldn't have won. We would have lost miserably.
I wanted you to tie that match.
Oh. Why do you want me to tie it?
Because that's a hard match to win.
It was a hard match to win. I had the lead the whole game, but I think at some point Jeremy kind of popped over or something and like looked at it and he's like, "Oh, we got 15-5 or whatever, 16-4 at the time." And I'm like, "Don't pay attention to that. It's about to go bad."
Yeah,
like,
it's not real.
It's not real. I said it's a mirage. It looks real nice.
Yeah.
But I just the writing on the wall when I don't control my home objective anymore and my expansion, I don't control that anymore.
Yeah.
It turned 5.
You draw extend battle lines like,
I did draw extend battle lines in like turn 4 or 5, and I'm like, I don't control my home. It's too hard to get.
CP redraw.
Redraw that shit, right? So Nate's a fantastic player, playing a horde army very, very well, very precisely. Didn't forget nothing. We all had a really good game, and it ended up a 10-10 tie. So personally, great game. Very happy I got it to a tie. Would have liked to get that win. The 1 cultist surviving is going to haunt me forever.
I'll get over it.
Jeremy, no, I refuse. Jeremy, how'd your game go?
My game did not go as well.
Oh, okay.
I played Grey Knights, David Corn's Grey Knights.
Yeah. Number 3 in the world. Grey Knights.
Used to be
Something
number
like
2,
that. Yeah, so he was playing 1 librarian to my 3. He was playing 1 giant 10-man brick of Brotherhood Terminators to my 3 5-man.
Right.
Looking back, hindsight's 2020.
Of course.
There were calamity of errors that I'd made through the game. One was I had a strategy of tying up his 10-man brick with my 5-man.
Can you tell the viewers the tech?
So with the librarian gives the Brotherhood techs, the Brotherhood Terminators, feel no pain versus psychic, and all weapons on Grey Knights are psychic. So not only rolling feel no pains versus the psi cannons and silencers, but also the Nemesis force weapons. So going into the match, in my head, I wanted to commit to his 10-man with my 5, but also try to pick off a few of them the turn I do commit to them. So then they just slap each other for the rest of the game, where they're each reviving 1 unit every round, and they just survive.
And that's a good trade for you
throughout.
Obviously.
Yeah, and then that would allow me to hunt the other assets in his army.
Of course. Yeah.
It didn't go that way. I think the turn that I did spike all the damage, he made 12 of 14 feel no pains.
4 up feel no pains.
4 up feel no pains versus
What?
psychic.
That's not math.
Feels bad.
That's not math at all.
And I think I panicked slightly in my head for there, and then I just overcommitted resources to that flank to try to get the train back on the tracks. And meanwhile, I was losing ground on the other side, and it felt like I was spinning my wheels and couldn't go anywhere. So I took too long trying to commit to a failed strategy. I should have revamped and repositioned units and try to go after objective and let him slowly kill that unit over a turn or two, and just abandon it. But hindsight's 2020. Learn from my mistakes. I used the mistakes I made in that match to go into the 4th round, opponent who was also
Stronger.
Grey Knights
Yep.
and use that to my advantage.
That's the way you have to do it,
So-
right? Yeah, 100%. And Dave is no slouch. Losing
No.
to Dave is not a badge of disgrace. That's like a badge of honor.
Yes, and I have multiple of those badges.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Um,
the last time we went to Edmonton, we played your Grey Knights into his Grey Knights.
Yeah, that was a
But he
much.
admitted he'd almost.
That was a much closer
Yeah,
match.
Yeah, that's right.
He
that's
admitted
right.
it.
That one was
Yeah.
on
on,
Razor's Edge.
on air.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
And he admitted it to me once I failed that 9-inch charge.
You were like, oh,
turn
shit.
1. He's like, okay, if you made that charge, you would have won the game.
So for all us viewers, and I know we all love David. Jeremy is the one who taught him how Dread Knights fall back in charge.
Ooh.
Yeah, fall back, shoot, and charge.
Oh, and David didn't know that after.
So-
the
So
games.
basically, Dave should have thrown the game to him, just based on that alone.
He owes
Should
me
have
one
fell back.
eventually.
He owes you one eventually.
So,
Dave, just so you know.
Dave, rent's gonna
any-
be due in October.
Oh yeah, it's October.
Yeah,
No,
good call.
September.
Good call. No, October. We're going
October.
To the big one up in Edmonton, right?
For the singles event in
Singles
October.
event. Yeah,
Oh, I have one in September. Though.
Whoa.
I'm in Iceland in
Okay.
September. And
Oh yeah, you got October.
unless I bring my army and
You
find
got
a
October,
tournament.
October.
man. Mark.
Yes. So I
Yes.
had the Custodes versus World Eaters match. I was playing Fraser.
Fraser
Who,
Perry.
Fraser Perry, who was on the podcast recently talking about World Eaters, and from what I understand, he hasn't lost since January. So
No. He did take one loss since January.
Okay.
Two. He took one from Matt Sector, his Tau, on player place terrain.
Oh,
and was
okay,
very,
yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say salty about it, but it hurt. You can tell
Yeah.
it hurt.
On a team event, and then he lost here at CAX.
yeah,
at the
TAC on
2v2.
CAX.
But I mean,
Well,
really, honestly,
he was
he's
saying to
undefeated.
me,
Yeah.
he was saying to me, he's been undefeated since
Oh,
January.
he was big dogging you. Is what he's doing. Yeah,
and
yeah,
so I was looking forward to the matchup. Super technical player, awesome opponent. Had a lot of fun. Learned from playing against him. First 3 rounds, my goal was to keep it close. And again, since it's a heavy melee army, try to hold back. He had second turn, I had first. So I was trying to make a blocking wall with my Witch Seekers and slowly kind of move up the board to try to get some kind of control. And again, it was really back and forth for like the first 3 rounds. I was trying to keep an eye on his Master of Execution and 10 Berserker Blob that was in his Rhino, because I knew, World Eaters, they can move crazy fast and advance and charge and all the shenanigans. And so again, I was playing strategically, kept it close into the 3rd round. I think it was 41-55 going into the 4th. And I was actually feeling really good because I killed Angron, I killed most of his heavy stuff. I had more assets on the table than he did.
What did he have left?
So I think he had his Rhino, Karn with 2 Berserkers.
What, 2 Berserkers and Karn? Like Karn was with 1 Berserker.
Yeah, Karn
Yeah.
was with 2 Berserkers.
Oh, like a 10-man Berserker.
down to 2.
It was a 5-man Berserker squad, and there was 2 Berserkers left.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Dudes.
Yeah.
And then
Dudes, not units.
Two
Yeah,
dudes.
two dudes left.
Yeah.
With
yeah, Devil Stream.
yeah, exactly. Eiffel Tower over Karn.
Well,
But
Hello, sir.
and then he had an exalted 8-bound in my backline, the 3-man, and then he had, I forget if it was an 8-bound, an exalted 8-bound in his deployment, as well as a squad of jackals. 2 8-bound units, Rhino, Karn, 2 Berserkers, and a jackal unit. And then I had a full 4-man squad of guard that was untouched, a 5-man guard squad with a blade champion that was untouched,
Huge. Yeah.
1 Alaris Terminator, and 1 Venatari model left. And so going into round 4, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a secret mission. I'm behind in points. I took the 1 to get a battle line unit into his deployment zone because
Right.
I had 2 battle line units.
Huge.
He had the Berserkers and the Jackals. And my 1 guard squad was right by Karn and his Berserkers. So I was like, you know what? I can advance and shoot with assault weapons. That squad, I could probably blow the Berserkers off
you
the
go
board.
first or
At least
second?
the
I went
Berserkers.
first. And so at the start of round 4, Fraser rolled his corn lottery and had 2 6s. And since he had jackals on his home objective with a
Banner.
horn icon, he literally just lifted up one dice. He's like, you better pray this is not a 6. And he rolls it. It's a fucking 6. Karn comes back. I finish my movement. He rapid ingresses Karn.
Angron.
Or, sorry, rapid ingresses Angron. Thanks, Jeremy. Right in front of, or 9 inches away from my guard squad. I was thinking I have to get rid of Angron in order to try to make the secret mission work, so I managed a 9-inch charge with the guard squad into him. They ended up taking off, I forget if it was like 6 or 8 wounds, and then he wiped them, and then I had the last guard squad that I brought into the middle, didn't shoot at the berserkers, and then Angron and the Exalted 8-bound came and wiped all of them off the map except for one guard model, and then by that point it was over, and I didn't have enough assets. I couldn't do any secondaries, and Fraser ended up taking the game 20-0. I would love to play another game against him because I feel like that Angron coming back with full wounds is ridiculously powered, like ridiculously overpowered. It just swings a game so much. Like if he came back with 8 wounds, I think it would be a lot more of an even playing field. But I don't feel like the score really showed how close of a round it was. If Karn didn't come back, I actually think that I would have had an opportunity to win the game, because most of my secondaries in the first 3 rounds were actually all action based. So I had established locus, recover assets, sabotage.
So you have all the killy ones later.
Containment. So I didn't have much of the killy ones. Which is why I was trailing by 41-55. So I think the game could have been a little different if Angron didn't come back, but still lots of fun, and Fraser is a fantastic opponent and learned a lot from it.
Well, and you're exactly right. You always know it's a good game when you want to run it back like right then. You're like, I want to play this same matchup right here, right now. Like, let's just run it back. Let's run it back right now, because you learn so much from good players like that. That you're just like, I could do this different right now.
And I went against Fraser too in the Classic, and he's one of my only losses. And his ability in his movement is so precise, and all the credit to him. Like, he's really good. He's playing MSU, sure, but he has an amazing movement of, like, his units have amazing movement, and he's using it the right way. Yes. And that's just something like that takes skill.
He's a chess guy. You can tell he's a chess player at heart. Like
100%.
Right?
Very, very tactical and like tactical minded, and asking lots of questions, checking, see if
the right questions.
The right questions too. Like seeing if his units were visible to me, and he wants to make sure that he's the kind of player where he's not going to be like, oh, I had him here and my intent was this. He's going to make sure that fucking unit is in the right spot before he says, okay, I am done.
Which I like. So it's almost like, if I move my guys here, can I see them here?
Yeah.
And that's the question you want to always ask, because you never want to put in a situation where, like, well, if I move my guys here, is there any chance you can see me?
Yeah.
Well, that's a very vague question. How about if your guys land here, because this is the way they can move, at a max advance, they can move here. Can you see me? No. Okay. Well, no, I'm gonna
figure it out instead of like leaving it up to chance, or like trying to. Obviously, we try to play by intent always, because it's just kind of a good, friendly, sportsmanly way to play. But if your moves are all clean and you're all on the same page the whole way, there's no ever confusion. That makes sense.
Agreed.
So the good old Bloodbath and Beyond did take the loss to the Florida Panthers.
So we're 2-1.
So we are 2-1 going into the final game of the tournament. Again, it was just a 4-game tournament. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I liked it. Like, more Warhammer is always fun. Like, I love playing the game.
Yeah.
But also going up, casual tournament, rooming with or boarding with like
the boys
and another team that we're playing against. Like, it was fun to actually be able to finish the first day at like 5 p.m. and be like, let's go do something.
That's right. We went and played some mini golf and hung out and stuff. That's true. I'm just maybe I'm crazy, but I just want more. I want more games, right? I obviously enjoyed going and playing mini golf. Social aspects all great, but I like getting into the grind. Like, I want to play 3 games. I want to play 3 games and then 3 games. Like, that's what I want to do. Right?
I mean, it's mainly about, like, I dedicated my entire weekend to this Warhammer tournament get as many games as possible to it because we don't have the opportunity later on, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And we're also driving 3 hours to Edmonton, right? It's not the longest drive anybody's done for a tournament, and this is not a slight to the tournament
3
organizers.
hours?
Yeah, you guys had a big long drive. You hit some
We had 5 hours.
you hit an accident on
day one,
yeah.
and then 2 hours the next day.
Yeah, big accident on the highway. And again, not a slight to the tournament organizers. Thomas, the guy who was running it, fantastic. Taps Games in Edmonton. If you guys are ever there, fantastic store.
That store is gorgeous.
Really good store. Fantastic,
Holy shit.
fantastic stock. Like if you're trying to find something like if you I know 8-bound were sold out everywhere for the longest time. They just had them on the shelf ready to rock. Like
I just felt comfortable in this store. Like you walk in, you just feel comfortable.
it
it's
was
a
a
chill
great
atmosphere. That upper area where we played in was wholly new, renovated, and they had like fans going up there for us big sweaty boys and all this good stuff. Like a fantastic tournament, good prize support, really really good event.
You know what? Funny story too. In the middle of my second game, when I was playing my Custodes opponent, I looked over to my left and I see a guy walking by, and I was like, Lane Budgel. And he looked at me, he was like, I thought I recognized you, but I don't remember where. And I was like, dude, we went to fucking high school together. And he was like, dude, welcome to my gaming store.
Oh shit!
And he's the owner of Taps. So I haven't seen that guy in like 23 years. And it was really
awesome.
funny to just stumble across him and be like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm in your place playing in your tournament. Thanks for hosting. This is
dope.
such a beautiful venue. And
It really is.
great staff. Like,
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
was awesome
They were
hosting that
killing
tournament.
it.
It was
So
great.
good. So he's got a big booming voice, can yell at all us buffoons.
I think he's
everywhere.
bigger than you. I think he's 6'7".
He is taller than me. He was taller than me.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to round 4 or round 4.
Yep.
Our last round.
Last round.
You know, we were feeling okay.
We were feeling okay, and I think we anticipated playing into one of the Trident teams. I think Trident Gold with Scotty B and I always forget his name. What's the Thousand Suns player? Is really good.
Kieran.
Kieran, thank you. Like really, really good players.
Who was playing Gene Stealer cults this tournament?
Who was
not
weird?
T-Suns.
Yeah, that's right. He was playing Gene Stealer Coat. That's right. So we were anticipating going to them. I think they might have had a loss or a tie that like put them out of our
think it was a
bracket.
draw.
I believe they drew. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they had a draw.
So we went into I don't remember the name off the top of my head.
YMM Fort McMurray.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep. The Fort McMurray.
They
boys.
were awesome.
Yeah, great guys. Great
Yep.
great opponents.
Holy fuck! That's the epitome of Warhammer right there. Like that, they were awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful armies. Like
Great jerseys,
yeah.
stickers. They had that
That matchmaking board.
the matchmaking.
Oh,
Yeah, the matchmaking
yeah,
board.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
So anybody that's watched like big team events, like the WTC and stuff, will be familiar with the like attacker defender board and the matchups going down the sides and stuff like that. They just of their own accord, no one else did this, printed off their own big board for us to do pairings on. They had the faction cards ready
yeah,
for us to
yeah.
use,
Yeah.
and I was like, hell yes, we're using this. we
Yeah.
were like, we're super into it. Mac, I think we played against
Yeah.
Mac
In
when
Edmonton,
the last
yeah.
Edmonton tournament we were up there. So super cool guys, great team. I don't remember exactly who we defended and stuff. Does anybody know the details on that? I can't remember.
Yeah,
how
I
that
was
went down.
defender.
Yep.
We defended Sisters.
Mhm.
They defended, I think, Death Guard, and then I attacked into them with somebody.
No,
No?
They attacked with Death Guard. They defended with Grey Knights.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they did Grey
Yep.
Knights again. And then we threw Imperial
Me
Knights and Grey
and
Knights
Grey
in.
Knights, that's what it
so
was.
So it was the exact same matchups as last time.
Yep.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
The only difficulties that I think we had was like, can I take Space Wolves or Death Guard? And I
Right.
think I'm kind of up in the air about that one. I don't give a fuck about it. But
Well, you had definitely a better matchup into Space Wolves than I would have. So that makes sense.
right, because they would clogged you up.
Yep. I have a hard time
And
with that.
we'll get into that after you guys. But that was my favorite matchup of the entire tournament.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Sick.
I
Yeah.
had the
So,
most fun
so
that
we ended up. Yeah, we'll start on that side. Mark, you ended up into.
Tau. So I was playing Tau.
The Tau.
What was the
Oh, you know what? I
detachment
can
called
find out.
again?
We were
Retaliation.
talking about it. We were thinking it was retaliation because you said there was lots of suits. I can tell you definitively it was retaliation contra.
Yep. So haven't played much against Tau before.
Okay.
Know that they can be pretty spicy with all their battle suits and have some pretty cool stratagems and stuff to use.
Yeah.
So I was up for the challenge, and kind of like I am in any tournament, I say throw me into anybody. I'm here to play, have fun. And my opponent was awesome, super kind guy, and upfront about everything. Had fun playing. I ended up getting second turn, and he ended up going first. And it was, I felt bad for him. Everyone was telling me, look out for Riptides. And I'm like, okay, Riptides, that's going to be priority target number 1. And
Flat
so
4 damage hurts.
Yeah, flat 4 damage hurts.
Six shots, flat 4 damage. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Dev
it's
sometimes?
Dev once per game.
yeah,
Jesus.
so nasty. And so I did my deployment trying to be more defensive, and
They also have a 4 invul and toughness like 10 or something.
Yeah, they're good.
They're tougher
yeah,
than
they're
Dreadnoughts.
super
tough.
good.
Yeah.
They're
super
super
good.
tough.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I just made sure all my stuff was safe, and I think he drew like bring it down and like something else right off the start, and he had nothing to shoot at. I think it
Right.
was like bring it down or no prisoners. I forget, but anyways, he didn't have any targets to shoot at, and so right on my first turn, I popped out the Caladius. It had whiffed all friggin' tournament, and then right when I needed it to, it didn't. So I rolled and ended up dealing 15 wounds to his Riptide and blew it off the board.
It's sorry to interrupt, just to talk about averages. It did nothing the entire tournament.
Exactly.
And now it does way too much.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you were
well,
owed.
no,
Yeah,
like
you were
I
owed.
think they have 14 wounds each.
That sounds about right.
so
I don't
14
know.
wounds, 4 invul.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So it has 14 wounds, and again, like it whiffed against the Space Marines. It whiffed against the
Custodes.
The Custodes.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, oh shit, it's going to whiff against the Tau. But 15 wounds into the first Riptide and blew it off the board. And then I charged like some guard up and took out some Kroot units and stuff. But
What does that mean?
it was a good first turn for me, and then turn 2 he didn't strip any wounds off the grav tank. He ended up pulling assassination, and I had tucked in the back corner with some witch seekers on an objective. I had my blade champion with guard squad, so he did a 3-inch deep strike with one of his like flamer battle suit units and a leader, and then deep struck another unit behind that. So there's 2 battle suit units all with flamers looking at the guard.
Yeah.
And
That's strike 7,
That's no
I think.
joke. That's no joke.
That's strike
Yeah, plus
7.
one,
yeah,
strike 7,
and
AP2.
AP2 1 damage each.
But we do with a strat, right?
No, when you're within.
Yeah,
the
when you're
correct-
within a
Old
certain
Seven
amount.
Sisters of Flame, right?
No, they don't
And-
get extra AP.
And
He
so,
did
anyways, he took all the guard off, but he didn't kill the blade champion.
Play this wrong.
And when he deep struck all those units down into that corner, I did my triple rapid ingress. So I put in the shield captain with the pyrite spears 9 inches away.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I had 1 Venatari unit about 10, 11 inches away from another Riptide, and then another Venatari unit up into the back. And when it was my turn, it was a devastating turn 2 for him. Like, my Caladius grav tank took out another friggin' Riptide. I ended up rolling, I think, a 5 and a 1 on damage, which equates to 10 wounds.
Okay.
And so then I
plus two,
spent
plus
1
two, yep.
CP and then re-rolled the 1 and turned it into a 6 and ended up dealing 15 wounds, destroyed that Riptide.
Jesus.
Venatari charged into the other Riptide, dealt 7 wounds. He failed all of his saves, so I dealt 14 wounds to it and destroyed that Riptide.
Spicy.
The shield captain and pyrite spears melted 1 entire battlesuit unit, and then they charged the last unit and took that one off. So I must have cleared like 1,100 points in round 2.
Yeah.
And then by that time, it was
Yeah, it was just
just
done.
it was just a massacre. It was down. It was really downhill for him. He took a secret mission and tried to get Shadow Sun or whatever his name is
Shadow Sun on your home objective.
into my home objective, and I just blocked him with the Telemon and
Her. I think Shadow Sun's a girl.
yeah.
Just so
Well, Shadow Sun.
I don't think they have genders in
They,
Tau.
They do.
No, they're cows.
No, they're fish. And
See,
they
that's
do
what I'm saying.
And they do.
They're cows and fish.
Fish cows.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, it was a
We're
well
getting
played
canceled.
game.
We're done. We're done,
Ended up
Steve.
being 20-0 for me, and
Yeah, good.
Oh, good job.
we finished really quick.
Yeah, you guys were done very quick.
Your round 2 and round 4 were you're done in like 40 minutes.
I was down. I was done in under an hour.
Yeah. Jeremy, how'd it go?
I had the pleasure of playing Mac,
did.
captain of that team,
Who was a
who was
absolute
also
gem.
playing Grey Knights, and yeah, he's a great guy to play against.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that game. He was not running any librarians, or he was running Grandmaster and Drago as well. He had a little bit more MSU. He had some interceptors, multiple strikes, squads. So when he deep striked his 5-man with Grandmaster and 10-man Paladin brick with Drago into my backfield, and went after my my lone Drago in my squad of brothers led by a librarian, instead of the mistake I made the previous game, overcommitting to
Yeah.
that flank so they wouldn't get swarmed. I just let Mac have it. He over 2 turns, he managed to kill them both, but
Right.
in that amount of time, I managed to clear pretty much everything else on the board. And
Huge.
then, that ended up being a 16-4 win for
Oh, it's actually,
for
it's not
me.
terrible.
so-
Like that's not a terrible
No,
loss.
it's not a blowout at all.
16-4.
No, we were both scoring points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but
pretty good.
at the end, like his 10-man paladin brick with Drago was down to 8 guys because I only managed to kill 2 of them over over that span.
Yeah, but whatever.
But they just deep striked. They would shoot, and I'd pick up a few models to make his charges further than 9. So they never really seen combat after clearing that side. And then, I just jumped around and destroyed everything else. The Dread Knights were priorities. I managed to take those out and doing actions to score points.
Yeah.
So,
Easy.
yeah. No, it was a good game.
Well, that makes sense for Grey Knights, right? It's like, yeah, you can afford to lose a big unit of Terminators because you have everything else zipping around the board getting points otherwise, right?
Yeah.
But that was on Terraform, if I remember correctly. So.
Yes,
It
I
was terraform.
managed to terraform all the objectives.
Oh shit!
What?
So
That's
same here.
surprising.
Terraformed all the
It's same?
objectives?
Yeah, I terraformed all the objectives.
Wow.
What, you guys didn't?
No, I
What-
did the
what's
opposite.
wrong with you?
I was 20-0'd. I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
won.
yeah.
I didn't terraform
because
at
I
all.
believe that one was also Swift.
It was swift action.
So
Terraform,
so on my turn, my Terminators just advanced to each of the objectives and started
Immediately
terraforming.
terraform. Yep.
And he dropped in, like I said, in my backfield to take out that one squad. But he had to commit both squads to shooting at Drago, who was all by himself doing a sabotage.
Right.
Didn't kill him in shooting, so they had to charge him. So he didn't get a full commit to that squad of librarians. So he didn't kill them. So they managed to finish their terraform, and then so that was a guaranteed 6 points every turn. Like
Yeah, you're just raking it in.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh man, that's great because especially
the stipulation though is control.
your opponent has a chance to deny it, right? So at the end of their turn, the action goes off. But as a Grey Knight player, that's huge for you because not that you can't hold primary, but if you don't have to plop something on there, you can kind of zip around the board and just get like a passive 6 points.
Unless
every
you
turn.
pick up a 5-man Terminator squad with a character.
Right.
That's 17 OC.
Right.
So
yeah, it's tons.
not too much stuff is walking up and just
That's
taking
right.
it from them.
Yeah, 100%.
So
My game, if I may, went not the opposite of your guys'. I didn't terraform anything until like turn 4, maybe even turn 5.
You're a Terra no.
Terra, no thanks. Terra pass. I played into Death Guard, which thanks to Cass I have a fair amount of reps into. He went no Mortarian Death Guard, which I was stoked about. I love every time there's no Mortarian. I'm like, yes, please.
Honestly, any Death Guard player, it's wrong.
You're just wrong.
I just think you're wrong.
Your fun is wrong.
But I understand with the new meta with the Plague Burst crawlers, it is slightly worse. I still think you're wrong.
You don't castle up with the Plague Burst anymore. You don't get the indirect, all that good stuff.
He's still a fucking beast.
He still had 2 Plague Burst crawlers with the whatever the weird Lascan stuff they have on them is called.
Entropy cannons.
Entropy cannon, thank you.
But the 24 inches.
24 inches, d6 plus 1 damage though, like okay anti-tank kind of stuff. Anyway, I made the choice.
Strength 10.
Yeah, not great. Not great into
They're way worse.
So he had lots of Terminators, the Death Shroud and the other one.
Blight Lords.
Thank you.
He had Blight Lords?
He had Blight Lords, yep.
How many?
Oh, I don't remember. I think there was
I like Blight
2
Lords.
units of Blight Lords and 1 Death Shroud with Typhus in it, or something like that. Then a couple Plague Burst. The not the Flesh Mowers, but like the crawly dudes. What are those crawler
The
dudes?
Pythic Blight Haulers.
Yep, those guys who also have multi-meltas on them.
And they
And
actually
they're
plus 1 a wound
Freaking
against
like
vehicles.
10 wounds each.
9.
Okay, whatever.
But they
like
have
a billion
plus
wounds.
1 a wound against vehicles.
Target number 1.
Yeah.
Needs to die.
Yeah.
Plague
And
Knights.
they move 10 inches.
Yeah. And he had him in a unit of 3.
And they also have crack missiles too that d6 damage. Yeah.
Super good against me. I was like, what? When he's
You'll see in our
multi-
campaign what I'm going to do to
Wait,
you.
when you're
They're pretty
those
good.
people who play knights, whether they're chaos or they're imperial, know that target priority is the biggest thing. What can kill knights? Go kill that thing.
Sure.
Because if you have those targets killed, those kind of targets killed by turn 3, you don't want to be crazy, but if you can have them killed by turn 3, your 4 and 5 is run around and get points, right?
They have -1 hit in combat too.
They have -1 to hit in combat. He gave me -1 to hit in combat. He gave me the contagion of -1 ballistic skill weapon skill.
What are we thinking of 9th edition? They had -1 in combat.
Anyway, going into him, I made the conscious choice not to terraform early. He went first. I actually don't remember. I think he would go first.
He did.
He went first. So he moved to the board, starts terraforming. I just denied it with like out OCing with, armigers are OC 8, which is fantastic. Denied his terraform and made the conscious choice to, instead of sit around and do actions, to start killing some stuff. So I took a pretty aggressive stance. He, in retrospect, I think you'd probably agree, his big unit with Typhus, the Death Shroud Terminators, was as far across. So this was not Dawn of War, but the what's it called? The tiered Dawn of War.
Sweeping engagement.
Sweeping engagement. Is that sweeping engagement? Yeah, the new sweeping engagement. Yeah, that's right. He had them as far across the board as he could pretty much put them. Where I was like, great, because I'm terrified of that unit. They're gonna quagmire whatever I hit them with the whole game. They're gonna pick up armigers here and there too. So when he played them way far back up the board, I'm like, that's great. You guys stay right back there. And I just missiled my Knight Lancer up the middle, and he staged his Blightlord Terminators with Typhus up against a wall.
No,
and I was
Death
like,
Shrouds.
Sorry, Death Shrouds.
Yeah.
Sorry, Death Shrouds. Up against the wall, like in his deployment zone, and the Knight Lancer moves 14 inches. So if he's in the middle of the board, he can kind of access
26-inch threat range, essentially.
It's crazy. It's wild.
Yeah.
So I just charged into his dudes on his, and it's the Knight Lancer's base was long enough that I could stand on the middle objective.
But he is a 4-pinball and a -1. Like
we fought in combat for the next 4 turns.
I see.
Right. He has a 4-pinball, and so do I. I pick off I'm -1. I'm -2 to hit into that unit. Right. So I'm picking off like a Terminator around, maybe 2 if I'm lucky. He's plucking off like 4 or 5 wounds around, kind of thing. And it's just like we just stalemated. But I'm sitting on the objective, and
you win.
Titanic characters can also do actions on the objective. So now all of a sudden I have a big OC 10.
Can they do actions in fight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They can do actions while they're in combat, and they can also shoot and do actions.
It's a good buff.
Knights are good right now. So anyway, I chose the aggressive path. I think I played it pretty good. A couple mistakes. I maybe blundered Canis a little bit, but it was enough to push me to a 19-1 win. So a convincing win, you could say.
It's pretty good.
Cass, how'd it go?
Well, I gotta say right now, this was my favorite matchup of the entire tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Adam Green, I felt like I learned a lot with the Voten. I thought that was an incredibly humbling experience. But this one was, I know when we were doing pairings, I kind of pushed for this matchup beforehand, and when the pairings came up, I was like, no, I can take this. So I went against Space Wolves.
Yeah,
Space Wolves. Right now, there has been a few winning GT lists, and what they generally try to do is they try to put you in jail. And what that means is moving their base sizes to block you from ever getting to the middle objectives.
Yeah.
So they try to, they can do an auto advance of 9 inches, and they move 10. And their base sizes is huge, so they can just run right up there.
Big oval wolf bases. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 3 wounds, 4 pinballs. They're really, really tough to get through.
-1 damage?
No, they have a -1 hit and wound strat.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. -1 hit and wound in one strat.
Yeah. And also
so
a 4 pinball. Like you
and
deal
a
with
4
a lot,
pinball.
right?
And they're tough as nails. Yeah.
But I was like, no, I could take this matchup because even if he goes first, he'll probably stage himself to then get me out of scoring primary.
Right.
If I go first, I do exactly what he does to people. So
Right.
I move up and just get a line right in front of the primary objectives, and he has to then go there, kill the thing that's in front of it, and then be open for more involved.
Yeah, he can't move as far enough to put you in jail. You already possess the mid board. That's as far as he can go.
So that's if I go first.
Yeah,
I end
right.
up going second.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Okay,
All right,
bad
so
news.
what am I going to do? All right, bad news.
Pivot.
What are we going to do here? So they are still cavalry and mounted, so they can't go through runes.
Correct.
But they can still use their base size to kind of block me from any kind of movement. I am lucky enough to have Seraphim and Zephyrim they're infantry flyers, so they can fly right through it. So what I can do is I have to then string a line across the entire map.
Right.
And that's what I do. So you 2 in the end, and then string a line, and then 2 again in the end, so you have 2 inch coherency between
A little
two
bow
rolls.
tie.
And then you do it again, and then again. And then with my 5-mans, I can just kind of string along with 2 inches. So what I ended up doing was move up my immos, disembark, string out. He comes close. I either go closer to him so he can't move, or I go back in the emulator. In this case, in these kind of matchups, he has strength 7, AP -1, 2 damage guns or melee.
Yep.
AOC does amazing work. So I don't even ever need to go back to my ammo. So I just what I do is reactive move. I'm now in front of you. So then I actually I keep on stringing them out, and then him moving close to me allows me to move even further to him. So I have some pictures, and maybe I can share it in the chat. But I literally strung it that he was in jail, and I call it Dominion jail.
Dominion jail.
Because on my Dominions, I kept him in
girl jail.
He couldn't score like.
I would like that kind of jail.
Yeah, it's kind of
Mark
nice.
would like to go to girl
I have
jail.
so much fun using this strategy. I really like the strategy. I find myself very favored in melee matches because of this strategy. But I had a lot of fun just kind of putting them in jail and then allowing them to make the wrong decision or kill something, and then having Morvenval or Paragon Warsuits or my Cascaders just killing it.
Yeah, you're trading away nothing.
I kept 1 unit in Deep Strike, only 1, and this was a really cool move. So I had Zephyrim in play, and Seraphim, which is a shooty one, in Deep Strike.
Right.
Okay. I drew Sabotage turn 3. Turn 3, I drew Sabotage. So I moved my Zephyrim up into his deployment zone, strung him along the end, just to tow the crate, and then I strung him like this way so he could never come over there because he had 2 units in Deep Strike. And then I Deep Strike my Zephyrim like this in a T. So that there was no possible way for him to ever touch my Zephyrim. So I could Sabotage for 6 points.
Right.
I thought that was the sickest play.
Yeah, just move.
I was like, oh hey, nope, and no, and then he did because he had 2 wolves, and they came and charged my Seraphim. I'm like, fucking kill him. I don't give a shit. I get 6 points right here.
Yeah.
Why would I give a shit? And
Just
when they
locked in.
deep striked, I shot and moved that much closer to him, so he couldn't even jump over them if that ever was a rule.
Nope. There's no wolf jump, thankfully.
No, there's no wolf jump. So I felt like I played that game really, really well.
Nice done.
Morvenval survived the entire game, and I killed everything. I tabled him. He was tabled.
Oh, damn.
Turn 4.
Good for you, dude.
Then it was so weird because I never really tabled anyone with sisters. And I was like, oh, we're going around 5. I just score all this, and you don't.
That's it. Just draw your cards, score your points.
I really enjoyed the match. I thought he was a good player. I thought he chose the right targets for his stratagems. I think that... Oh.
Are you guys good?
I'm good, thanks.
All good, thank you.
I think that he might have moved incorrectly and deployed incorrectly, and we talked about it after.
Sure.
But ultimately, I'm not afraid of the matchup. I am... For most games I play, I'm afraid of that matchup. I think it's getting Wolf Jail is just.
Oh, I think going into that pairing, we had a healthy respect for Wolf Jail. I didn't want to go into it. I don't know if you guys were like scared of the matchup or not. I think Grey Knights.
I would have been fine.
Grey Knights
You
are
would have been
fine.
fine.
You're
You can move
good.
around it.
You just deploy all the way back and
I was
don't
thinking
worry about it.
engagement range, and then double charge you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough matchup no matter what. Space Wolves are doing very, very well in the meta period. Wolf Jail is a real thing.
I felt very comfortable in that matchup. I just felt
That's
like
good.
I can
That's
completely
killer.
control it.
and it showed.
Yeah. Well,
You showed off. You ended on a.
I
do you
said off
remember?
on that one. 19-1.
You got a 19-1.
Yeah.
So we finished out the tournament on a strong point, right? We got a little bit whacked by who turned out to be the tournament winners. No disrespect there. No shame
they
there.
Earned it. They earned it.
100% earned it.
They're amazing.
They had the harder win path than we did, even if we were to get there in the end. So Florida Panthers end up taking first place in this tournament. There were 12 teams.
12 teams.
12 teams of 4. Florida Panthers / Prairie Fire Warming Gaming took down first. We placed second. FAAC Buddies took third. Trident Gold went fourth, and Trident Black went fifth.
Wow.
So mad respect to all those guys.
You can also tell there's skill there, right? Because it's always the same kind of guys on top.
Oh, of course.
I really want to just to close this all out because we are getting at 150, but we had a few minutes to edit out. But what would you change in your list, Mark?
Oh yeah,
Oh, boy.
lessons learned, mistakes made, changes to make in the future. Yeah, good call.
So I'm not sure if I would. I guess I keep saying the Caladius grav tank whiffed a bunch, and part of me is like, would I get rid of my Telemon and then take a second Caladius? Maybe. I think the unit I'd probably get rid of is the Pyrite Spear Squad.
Oh, you didn't like it. You didn't like
so,
it. Eh?
No,
Whoa,
no,
that's-
so not that I didn't.
Hot take alert.
Yeah, so
Yeah, good job, Cass.
so not that I didn't like it. Like when it slaps, it slaps. But it's like you got 6 chances with Meltas for, strength 9, and most of the time I'm trying to throw them into a vehicle. Right, I'm trying to take something.
So wounding on 5s.
Yeah, so a lot of the time
yeah.
I'm wounding on 5s. They have the once per game. Like once per game, you can have lethal hits. I usually spend a CP to try to give them sustained as well.
Smart. Yep.
And again, when they hit, and they'll take something out. They still in melee will hit like a regular guard unit, but part of me is wondering how things would have been differently for my one loss if I had a Warden squad
With
instead
bolters there.
for the -1 to being wounded,
So tough.
and then having that 4-up
Force them up
invul.
there. Yeah.
It's the same amount of points, and
Okay.
I'm not saying that I dislike the Pyrite Spears. I think
Yeah.
at 250 they're fantastic. And, if they're on an objective and controlling it, they reroll wounds. So
Sure.
the goal is always to try to deep strike them onto an objective marker 9 inches away from somebody. But I'd say those would be the 2 things I might change to try something different in a team atmosphere, so that I would have more anti-tank from a second Caladius, but then more tough defensive kind of center field holding capability with a Warden.
And can I interject here? The Pirate Spears are good. So what's the alternative again?
Just like normal spears and stuff, or axes.
So like you can have Adricite spears.
The profile.
So Adricite spears, I don't even
Oh, is there
remember.
another one? I didn't even know.
Yeah,
there was
Yeah,
one.
okay.
Pyrite or Adricite.
So what I'm saying is that you have this killy thing. I think you're already dominant in combat, and when you want to get people in combat anyways.
Yeah.
So you're just doing a win more at that point with the Pirate Spears, where if you have, say, the bolters, and then shooting twice, you can deal with MSU units, and you can deal with other fragile units, and
For
you
sure.
can you may not be able to attack a tank, but I think your attack with tank is with the Blade Champion and charging and having lethal, or the Shield Captain,
Yep.
and then doing both lethal and sustained.
Yep. For sure.
So the Pirate Spears might be a win more.
Yeah, and it was kind of, when I was making that list, it was every single Custodes player that was in that tournament, I think, was running Shield Host with 2 Caladius grav tanks.
Right.
And again, like last time when I was on the podcast, I don't like to play meta lists. I like to try to find my own way.
Sure.
And so I was thinking, I'll run 1 tank, and then for the same amount of points, I'll run 1 Telemon, because the Telemon has a bit of shooting for hordish stuff with blast weapons and flamers and everything. It's okay in melee. It's tough with -1 damage, 2-up, 4-up, as opposed to the 2-up, 5-up on the grav tank. So I wanted to try running the Telemon, plus it's a Forge World model, and it
Looks cool.
it's fun.
You painted
it looks
up
cool.
gorgeous, obviously.
But with the Pyrite Spears, I was like, okay, this could be another mobile anti-tank unit that I can deep strike, take a tank out, or a vehicle of some kind, monster, and then move into combat elsewhere. So I wanted to try to have that mobility with some anti-tank, as opposed to just running 2 grav tanks as
Yep.
meta.
Fair.
Yeah, the thought was there, and I like where your head's at with moving forward. So
Yeah.
I don't think it was a bad decision going Pirates. I just
Yeah.
think that it might have been a win more in hindsight.
Jeremy, any changes, mistakes, lessons learned? What are you thinking?
Oh, mistakes and lessons learned, yes.
all
but,
across the board.
for the list, though,
Yeah.
I think I played the right list for the event. I liked the inclusion of the Brother Champion. The list building with Grey Knights, everything is so costly. I don't have
Right.
any cheap units, so if I make one change, I end up changing a lot, because then I don't have points to actually add what I want.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we didn't have access to allies because of this guy.
That's true. That would have helped. But if I were to make a change to try something different, I would have removed the champion from the strike squad, because Yes, him leading a strike squad gives them fights first, and I armed them all with swords. They had no heavy weapons in that squad, so they were just there to go out and meet an oncoming charge.
Right.
If I were to change something, I take him out, and maybe the Tech Marine that I had that I was using to give my Dread Knights that extra buff.
Yep.
And that would free up me enough points to include another strike squad or an interceptor squad and a sigil for one of my librarians.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. Well, you played no sigil.
I played no sigil.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What's
actually.
sigil do?
Sigil, when that unit gets shot, they can go up and come back down within 9 inches somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's the other shenanigans.
Yeah, I didn't play it. It's really powerful,
very strong,
but it's hard to fit in when you're building the list. So even then, I think I had 1995 points. Sigil's 30.
Yeah. When all your stuff costs like a minimum of 120-ish.
Yeah,
Card,
strike
right?
squad is 125 points,
Right,
and that's
exactly.
like my
Except
cheap.
for like servitors.
That's
I'm
my
not
cheapest
bringing
unit,
servitors.
aside from servitors.
You're not bringing servitors.
No, I'm not bringing servitors. But yeah, they're like 50 points. But yeah, strike squad's 125, and then up from there.
Yeah,
like
right.
5 Terminators is 210.
Yeah.
Librarians
Yeah, any
125.
change is a big change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
And then when I'm like, yes, I do have some cheaper characters that are like the 80-90 point range, but then I'm just swapping a champion for another character.
Right. And it all plays kind of
like, so we might as well just
whatever.
play with the champion.
Yep.
And mistakes, yeah, every tournament I go to, I learn something, and I'm better going forward. Like this time last year, I wasn't winning any games, and this time, like now, I'm winning majority of my games.
That's
so
fair.
It's
Very fair.
good. It's good progression.
Yeah.
I've only been playing like since the beginning of 10th. So
Yeah.
High five.
Same.
Losers.
Cass is the old man amongst the group. Oh, I remember back in 8th edition. Wait, how does cover work again?
Actually, no, I just started now. I suck.
Well,
this guy's the future in 2 editions from now.
Well, I did start playing Warhammer back in the early 90s.
Oh, shit.
But
Yeah.
you know,
But seriously, competitive.
I don't even
stuff.
know if Ben was born then. Jeez.
Not yet.
no? Oh, geez.
Oh, no.
I am the old
I
man.
just barely 89, so I just barely
89.
was born. I was a young
89,
young boy.
90 is what's happening right now.
Yeah, I was playing Tyranids back then.
Sweet.
Back when they were weird looking models.
Yeah, but should have pre-painted too.
Cass, what do you
some of them, yes.
No, lessons are for you, buddy.
You want to just go down the couch?
We're going down.
List building, nothing to change. I think I've seen some decent success with 3 big knights. I think I've said this to you guys already, but from my play style, I like the 2 bigs. It gives you room for like 7 to 6 armigers, usually an ally of some kind, even though your team will bust your balls a little bit. The list is fine. The only other like straight Imperial Knights player that was playing at that tournament played the exact same list: Canis, Lancer, Armigers, Assassin. Exact same list. The list is tried, true, and tested. The Lancer is a absolute house. Canis is a beast no matter what. List is fine. Lessons learned. I think pairings with knights, I can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. I think a lot of the time I was a little bit too scared to take like bad matchups, like whether it was those the Custodes with the 2 Caladius and a Land Raider.
But fair enough. But
right.
Yeah.
Fair fear, but I think if I'm gonna be the guy who's already, not that I feel bad
You're
about
the toughest,
it,
yeah.
I mean, we're kind like Custodes is also a stat check, right? It's just a different kind of stat check. I think I can be a little bit more aggressive and let you guys shine a bit more. I think that would be my takeaway. Let your team get their good matchups, and I think, and I even said it during the tournament, like maybe I go up as a defender and I just take a bad matchup, right? I was willing to do that. Not that I said no to you guys, but I think I can be a little bit more adamant about like leaning into my stat check a little bit harder.
Right.
Because I'm used to getting blasted off the board. Like, it has happened many times. Like in the last solos tournament, I just got absolutely dummied by guard with a bunch of tanks and stuff, right?
Sure.
So like in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, you don't want to get dummied. You don't want to go 0-2, like get blanked, right? You don't want to go with 0 on the board. So I think I can be a little bit more.
I think it's easier to go 0 on the board with the Knights army than
it is.
opposed
There's
to other armies.
100% because as soon as you lose a big knight, a quarter of your army's gone, right? There's no real comeback mechanism for knights. The Calidus, weirdly enough, is your comeback mechanism in that she can keep scoring points all over the board.
Sure.
But once you're down, you're kind of out. There's no I've got a rapid ingress threat. I've still got this in the bank. I've still got this in the bank. Yeah, I think that would be my takeaway. The list is solid, no problems there. Just be a little bit more aggressive, I guess, in pairings, and kill one more cultist. My lesson is kill one more cultist, and everything goes fine. I hate you, Nate. I love you and hate you.
At the same time. For me, I think the one thing I changed in my list was the Zephyrim. Zephyrim are the flying angels that are melee intensive. They do have the karate, so they sustain lethal if I discard miracle dice. 15 attacks, but it's only strength 4, AP -2. If I get it in, it's great. They can move fast, but I find that the Zephyrim, or Seraphim,
Shooties.
They can go in with the flamer auto hit. You're basically eliminating a roll and shoot and then scoot right onto it and take an objective.
Yeah.
So I think they're facilitating the same role, but the thing is they can maybe kill the thing, but definitely take you off the point. Whereas Zephyrim can maybe do it and not necessarily take you off the point. So I think there's a small error on my end for that. Utilizing my firelings, I think I could have learned a little bit better, and knowing when to trade.
Sure.
I felt like I made the biggest mistake in the Votan matchup, where if my 10 brick of Seraphim with the jump at Canis would have just move blocked his rapid ingress, died anyways, but at least shoot something and kill it at 80 points. It's 80 points. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, push him back.
But at least kill one thing, and the trade would have been at least better in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I made some mistakes when it came to deciding my reserves and knots. I thought I played Morvenn Vahl perfectly. But I didn't play my Cascaders perfectly or my ammos. So there's definitely errors I could have adjusted, but ultimately I like the list. Moving forward, though, I think I'm going to take out the second Paragon unit because
I was going to ask about that, actually. How you felt about that? Not worth.
They were great. They were great.
Okay.
They are 210 points, and they are a trade piece. But at 210 points, a trade piece in Sisters can be less optimal. Where I'd rather. I was going to go. What's my next? I want to jump pack Canis solo. Because in Bringer Flame, you have an enhancement that gives it a 2-up save and a 5 mid ball.
Yep.
And I can deep strike anywhere because I have this tiny thing.
Great
and I kind of want to
piece,
I just want Celestine again.
Yeah.
I miss Celestine, and I think with those two pieces coming in, I increased my units up to 21 as opposed to 19. Mm-hmm. And I ultimately think it's better because the Paragons, again, they were a threat, but they never, without Morvenn giving the rerolls, they were just like...
It's not the same.
They were good, but I need to go against that Tyranid matchup.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm not going against anything like that, then they're not good.
Right.
So I felt like they were my weakest points, and the Zephyrims were my weakest points.
Cool.
So I'm changing my list to getting rid of the Zephyrims, getting rid of the Paragons. I'm going to add a jump head Canis with the enhancement of super durability, and Halberd. So when she charges, she gets 8 attacks, strength 5, AP -2, 2 damage, death wounds.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's
great profile.
Hitting on 2s.
Great profile. Yeah.
It can kill something. Anyways, and then I'm gonna add a couple more Dialoguses because they're 30 points, and I can do that.
Nice.
And why wouldn't you? And also, like in some other certain matchups, like say World Leaders, I wouldn't start. I start the Dialoguses on the field, but they're sitting in each corner, so you can't deep strike Exalted.
Ooh, yeah.
Right, and I'll screen out the rest.
Yep.
And then I'll shoot the rest. So that's my kind of plan.
I like it.
I revealed September, so.
I like it.
Anyways, that's it for me. Other than that, I felt like I played a really, really good tournament.
Yeah, I think we all did very good.
Yeah,
I think we all
I
did.
agree.
We all did fantastic. again, having our only loss being to the winners, you can't feel bad about that. That's just the way the dice go sometimes. That's how tournaments go sometimes. Couldn't have
And they're great
lost
players, too.
to a nicer group of guys, I guess.
I think we got voted best sport from them.
Did they give us best sport?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Okay.
we gave them best sport too.
All from ladies' night. All from
Oh yeah,
ladies'
the ladies' night points went up through the roof.
I can think about, but I think we can start wrapping it up.
Yeah, I
here.
think that's good. I mean, I appreciate you guys letting us do like a debrief, because this is kind of our team debrief on what we thought, how it went.
And now you have the inside track.
And
on
you
it,
got
like
some
you
inside
can-
track on Bloodbath and Beyond and what we got going on here. We don't have a team event in the near future, unfortunately. There's a bunch of like okay sized singles ones here in Alberta coming up, but the next time we squad up, I mean, it's gonna be look at something like these guys.
It's gonna be epic.
Yeah.
It'll be epic. Thank you for joining us, guys. Mark,
Hey, thanks
Jeremy?
for having me.
Jeremy,
for having
first
me.
time on the podcast. Thoughts, criticisms, don't hurt us.
It was great.
All right.
Well, I
There you go,
usually
it's
give
great.
the
That's
intro,
great.
but
No more.
you know, this way.
Folks, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Bloodbath Tactics.
We also want to say thanks to a couple of our sponsors that help us in the tournament scene. We have CAC's Bar and Podcast, where we are filming this awesome podcast right now, and also Fenris Workshop on the other sleeve.
There you go. Cax right there.
Fenris?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Fenris on the other side.
Cax and Fenris. Fenris, awesome gaming store out in Quebec City. Definitely check out their website. They are the bee's knees when it comes to this hobby, just down to earth guys. So thanks for all your support and allowing us to do what we do and having fun.